Starting the stream.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're getting serious.
Oh, ready?
Yeah,
Is it
we're on.
starting?
We're on.
We're on?
We're on.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. And the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the weight comes right behind the rain.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be like this all night, I think.
Welcome to the Arcade Radio box office theater. I don't know. Riff!
I'm going to get the chat running here. Is anybody in there? No, just us.
I think we should pre-record an episode one time where we pretend that we're a documentary.
Nobody but us chickens. Yeah, that'd be great. We could do that.
Let's do it. We'll take 2 months to make it.
Be like Polybius, right?
Yes. Just one episode. Save this piece of cheese for right now.
Don't crunch on the cheese.
The cheese is the quietest food that you can eat. It's a proven fact. Silent.
Nobody in the chat.
Silent all these years. Oh. I just need the link.
The link is youtube.com/arcaderadio/live every week.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm playing with my camera. Sorry.
There's nobody. There's 8 people, and I don't see anybody in the chat. It's okay though. Yep. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you, Andy.
Yep. Video unavailable. Watch this video on YouTube. Playback on other websites has been disabled by the video owner. You son of a...
Yeah. Let me see if I can change that.
That's no big deal. But it gives you something to do.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, because it gives you a link. There's a little link in there for you to click.
I have to log out. I don't understand.
Look at this Road Blaster's cockpit for sale. Oh.
Where's that?
No, where's 30157? Hey, did you know that the Mach 3 cockpit has a Fresnel lens in it too?
I did not.
It looks pretty cool.
I have Fresnel lenses above my bar now. It helps.
Fun.
It helps with the light. Let's play What's in the Juke before anyone else shows up. It's a good idea.
What's in the
Juke? Hello and welcome to What's in the Juke.
Man, it is long when you sing it out loud.
How come?
Hey, this shirt is available at Old Navy in case anybody is like hankering.
Peter Cetera. No. Close.
Peter Cetera owns this shirt.
What is going on?
What is going on here?
Oh, I love that Tempest cabaret. That's beautiful.
How did that pop up on the screen?
What?
What do you see? I don't see anything.
Oh. No, something. Yeah, that Tempest cabaret was really, really nice.
Mr. Peabody, welcome to the show. It's very nice to see you. We look forward to chatting with you.
Thumbs up to Mr. Peabody. Does that show up on the stream, or is that just for us?
We'll find out in a minute.
Okay, let's see.
I don't think it does.
Too bad.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ha.
And harass each other now. I'm on it.
I'm just going to do this one thing here.
How did I lose my little emoticon thing? Oh, there it is.
Whoop, there it is.
Whoop!
That was the first What's in the Juke song.
Damn it.
Brian, no, I just was looking through some of the arcade classics ads here. You had one up there that you were looking for something. Let's see, what was it, Brian Jones? What are you looking for?
I have some news that I could share.
You do?
Yeah.
And why not? Not arcade news?
No, it's arcade news. Well, I am going to go to Arizona tomorrow. For
On purpose?
Yeah, for a long weekend. Yeah.
Oh, wait, here. Brian Jones is looking for an extra Zookeeper kickplate graphic.
I think I have one down here. Just a second.
I think Brian might be sleeping.
No. Oh, that's a good theory. What time zone is he in?
Central. He lives in Chicago.
Chicago.
Well, near Chicago. But he lives in Chicago.
Schaumburg?
Yeah.
For real? Huh.
For reals.
I told you his city name earlier.
Well, I just got through talking to a whole bunch of people, and they told me city names too, and now I'm confused. So,
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. You think I'm retaining anything that you say? Come on.
Mm-mm.
It's only 7:30 in Chicago. Yeah, well, that's where we are. It's in Central Time Zone. So
That's right. Brian Jones.
we're even Houston is Central.
Allegedly. Oh, by the way, I was in Nebraska. You said that I was ghosting you. We were out of town for a wedding, and that's why I was sort of not around.
Brian's an old fart, but not that old. Yeah, so we got chatters waiting for a show to happen. We have we don't have a guest.
Chatty, bang, bang.
It's the first time.
Has anybody ever said that?
I'm
going to trademark that. I'll
Chatty
be right
chatty
back.
bang bang.com. I'm sure that's not an appropriate website. I'm going to go look right now. Chatty.
Yeah, Google that.
Chatty.
I did a leg workout today, and I'm all sore.
.com. It's being squatted on.
What is? Your butt?
Chattybang.com.
Oh.
You can buy it for $800.
Hell no. That is
Hell
just way
to the
too
no.
much.
Yeah.
What about Chooty Bang Bang?
I'm not looking that up because I don't even know how to spell it. Judy.
What is that from? It's got to be some 40s reference.
That's Cary Grant, and then Goober Pyle used to do a impersonation of it. He'd say Judy on the Andy Griffith show. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah,
I love those weird references.
Yeah,
like on Tom and Jerry, how they used to say, "Don't you believe it?" Do you know the reference?
I don't.
But have you ever heard somebody say that?
Don't you believe it? Nope.
It's like they used to have a radio show on in the 40s. It was kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not, where they would tell you like an incredible story, and at the end the guy would end with, "And don't you believe it?" And that used to be like, where's the beef of 1945 or something.
Sure.
Let's bring it back. We're bringing it back.
Well, hello there, Mr. Jason Heiser. Welcome to the show. Brian Jones, Mr. Peabody, Andy Baldwin, Brian Jones.
I only have the chat pop out at. I can't see how many people are streaming. I mean, viewing the stream, but
there's 8.
It's not bad.
Ish. 10-ish, 8-ish. I think it counts us, so. Well, here's some good news. We're live. Here's some bad news. Our guest is MIA.
MIA. He's almost in Miami, but not quite.
So close, yet so far.
So far.
Yeah.
He's in Schaumburg, asleep probably.
Well,
I could put my no, I don't have that. I was going to bring my Rampage game in here, and I realized it wasn't going to fit through the door.
something must have happened to Mr. Brian Colin. that he is
Right.
unable to be on the show tonight.
Brian Jones says he's pinging him.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to just get rolling here. It's a sad cold open. It's making me sad.
Womp womp. I miss it when we used to have that girl call in and try to order food, and then, try to do reverse psychology on you. And those were good times.
Should I play one of those? I think I could find one from the olden days.
Sure. Don't you have a rejected one somewhere? Or?
No, they were all used, I think. Yeah, I mean, that was back in the day. That's almost 3 years ago now.
Oh my God, we're so old.
Yeah. I mean, no, what? The show is not that old.
The show.
Gulp.
Second longest running arcade radio show podcast, maybe.
Could be.
I mean, they're all dropping like flies. So
there are a bunch out there. I don't know. 3 years is like as long as people want to go. I don't know.
Doesn't even feel like 3 years. I think we should go at least 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
By then I'll be in the time circuit arcade or whatever.
We'll need the time circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, time circuit arcade. I've been calling that the time travel arcade, but time circuit arcade. Yeah.
What?
I keep refining what I'm going to do. It's definitely going to be arcade is 1985. My event space will be 1885, and then the back, the outside will be 1955.
Cold open.
Cold, so cold. What's the weather like, guys?
Very cold.
It's actually not that great.
No, it's pretty. We've had a couple nice days. Today is not one of them.
No.
It's blustery and rainy, drizzly. Yeah.
Like I think today got to 85 here. So
I did drive back from Vegas last week. That was fun.
Oh, that's steamy.
Coming through Loveland past. Yeah. The snow was coming down so badly, and I had the trailer behind the truck. Almost lost it. 3 cars in front of me swerved off the road into the shoulder. I tried to hit the brakes. So
never hit the brakes.
Well, no, I mean tapping them and stopped about 5 feet from the car in front of me that was stopped. It was a little freaky. Well, Brian, we were at the Amusement Expo last week in Vegas, which was kind of fun.
That's cool.
Brian Jones says he was in Vegas last week, right after talking about prostitutes travel. What?
I bought a Monaco GP yesterday.
Sweet. What size?
Cockpit.
Cockpit?
Yeah.
Extra large.
Where are you going to get that into the basement somehow, or is it just going to...
I don't know. I needed
Sounds
it
fun.
though. Yeah. Yep.
Did you get rid of something else to get that?
Nope.
Hey, when does that arrive so I can be busy?
It's gonna go to Fastenal. This is gonna be, and it'll be created, so it won't. You don't have to worry about it.
We're opening a...
I'll handle it
Hella
myself.
Down to the basement?
It's not going in the basement.
This is Carbach Brewing's Hella.
It's going in the living room.
Michelada, and it's never been in Adam's living room. No, it's not. You're not gonna put a game in your living room, are you?
No.
You don't have... All your games are just in your basement, right?
Nope.
In the garage.
And in storage.
Well, that's... Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah.
The best place for games, where you pay for them and don't get to play them.
I have power in my storage. It's weird. They let you use electricity for free up to a certain amount, and I don't think they have a way to figure that out. And so, Aaron Sanders, he just leaves his air conditioner running all the time that they gave him. So lucky.
Lucky.
Or I don't know if that even made any sense. This is not good. I'm sorry, Carbach, but
Hella is hella bad.
thumbs down. It's weak. It tastes like a tomato that is like past its due date.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I need to get one of those.
I'll see what I can do for you. You know what? If you ever come into Houston, I'll take you to Captain Tom's, and they have a dozen oysters for $7, and they make the best michelada that exists on the planet. So just let me know when you're gonna come down to the Houston Medical Center for, high-fiving your bros or whatever you do, and then we'll do that. Oh my God, what, Brian, on your arm? What is going on there?
Oh, there? I don't even know.
Oh, that's nice.
That was probably me trying to move the pinball into the basement when Adam said he'd come over and help me and never showed up until after it was in there.
Son of a.
I helped him move games into the trailer at the warehouse, though, so.
He did do that. That was extremely helpful.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
It's nice. I like. Is this a dog?
You do that very well.
How do you cook the dog? What?
Yeah.
Since I'm sitting down, I had to center myself.
Hey, who wants to do a show out there in the chat? Should we just do a show?
Let's do a show. We got stuff.
I've been working on stuff.
All right. Me too. But I can't talk about it until I hear that song that Adam made.
What song did I make?
The one that, at your service, Commander. Wait, what did she used to say? I forget.
That's from a game.
Is it? What game?
Google it.
Dang it. Oh, my wife is coming with food. I think this is the perfect time to start playing the intro so that I can gobble up my food with the mute on. Thanks, wife. All right.
All right.
What is? Shrimp scampi.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Hello, Commander. Computer reporting.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Beware, I live. A stimulating opponent.
Hello, and welcome to Season 3, lucky episode 13 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2019, and the time is now approximately 7:36 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us in the Arcadosphere. This is your host, Senator Adam Stevens. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark, Time Runner Shields, and ParadiseArcadeShop.com proprietor, and the Tom to my Jerry, Brian Thurston Howell III. And tonight, we have with us none other than absolutely nobody. There's been a little trouble getting our guest on tonight. We think he ran into some trouble. Haven't been able to get a hold of him. So
Is there trouble in River City?
there's trouble right here in River City.
With the capital T?
The right rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So welcome to the show, chatters. Very sorry. This is the first Arcade Radio first right here. The guest has gone MIA.
There might be a large collection of animals three large animals heading towards Chicago, and he's had to run for cover or something.
Oh, we can only hope.
Right. Which
So-
one do you think grabbed him?
Hi. Hi. So, normally we would introduce the guest, and that was supposed to be Brian Colin. Maybe we can get him back on the show some other time if we want to. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do something a little different this time because why not? The show's a little different tonight. So, let's start with a random question. Instead of like what you've been working on, and we could still talk about that because we got plenty of time, right? So maybe we'll move that to the end of the show. So the random question for tonight, and I should have a noise for this, shouldn't I? Like some sort of
Boing, oing, oing, oing.
There should be
Or like the old Price is Right spinning the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. We need that. We need something like that, right? I mean, that'd be fun.
We'll fix it in post.
Right. In post the podcast that people listen to, it'll sound awesome. We'll put that in there. But in the meantime, I'll play this laser noise.
It is so short.
In the meantime, I will play this completely random noise that has nothing to do with anything, and then we'll go to the next segment.
Can you play it several times at least?
Okay, well, what about a bike bell?
Oh, now I want the random question like it's nobody's business.
Okay, here it is. What was your most difficult game pickup? Mark, go.
It was April 2015, and I'd bought a Star Wars. It was a good deal.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh!
$1,000.
Mine's a Star Wars story too.
No way.
Go ahead.
And it was upstairs at this guy's house, and he had some other games. And I was looking at it. It had been restored, but it was missing the wheels, first of all. So I thought that was kind of odd. And then, I got it to the top of his staircase, and it had just one landing. I'm more afraid of staircases with two landings anyway. So I got it to the first landing, and he was down below me, helping me. Okay.
Nice.
I thought for sure he was guiding or touching the bottom or doing something. And it turns out I think he was looking at it.
Yeah.
Because he kept giving me it looks real good, looks real good.
Oh,
And
you're doing fine. You're doing fine. No problems.
Right. So we got to the landing, and then it was even steeper down to the base. And I was like, hey, maybe we should put something down at the bottom there, because there's no wheels on this thing, and the corner might hit your beautiful floor. And he agreed. He went all the way down. He put something down there. And then he came up, and then I leaned the machine back, made it down one step, made it down two steps. And then that third step, I lost leverage, and I rode the machine all the way down, I think another 15 steps or something.
Oh, jeez.
And he was this, the Flash, running in front of it, to get out of the way and stuff. Not helping me at all. So my life is flashing before my eyes, and I'm trying to slow it down. So I'm trying to get under it as it's going bump, 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 bump. And anyway, so we landed on that carpet that he'd put at the bottom, and nothing really was hurt. But oh my God, that was I thought for sure that was the end. And once I got it outside, he's like, "Hey, can I help you strap this down?" And I'm like, "Go away. I don't need your alleged help."
Yeah, I found when I grab games, people will offer very nicely to help sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, they don't help.
No.
They just aren't used to moving big objects, and usually I'm very politely say, "Oh, thank you, I move a lot of these," or whatever. But it's the number of times that I've had people just do stupid things. You'll go down a staircase and they'll lift the game while it's on the dolly, so it's tipping back onto you, and you're like, no, it's balanced. It's good here. We're just gonna lower it as we go.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, that game I moved it inside of the house, and it is not coming out ever again, ever. But that was my hardest. I mean, before that, moving games out of basements in Minnesota, they were kind of hard to do. But then I learned I just hire movers, and then it's not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's funny. The Monaco GP that I mentioned in the cold open, I got it on eBay. I don't normally buy games on eBay, but it was a really good price, and it looked to be in very good shape. The seat was intact. All the wood looked pretty solid. There's some paint problems on the back, but it works. So I had to go for it. And I took your advice and went with Fastenal, Mark.
All right.
Yeah. So you said that you had some, good luck with them. So from Virginia, from Waynesboro to Plymouth, Minnesota, $210.
Whoa. That's about
Wow.
the right number.
That's way cheaper than any of the other freight companies, though.
Yeah, I think I bought a Zybots while I was in Lincoln, and it's coming from Coin Op Warehouse to Houston, Texas, also like $209.
Yeah, and you know what?
Wow.
It was I checked with one of the arcade movers, one of the ones that one of the other guys I know likes to use because they're very reliable and they do a good job. They wanted $375 at a minimum. So, and then they had a $50 surcharge for remote locations. So
Huh.
it would have been like $425 or something like that. So this was like half of that, less than half. That's pretty good.
That's a beautiful story. I'm going to use them to transport the front of the Back to the Future 3 train that I have in Columbia.
The only thing is that you have to have it palleted and crated or ready to go. So.
That's true. You got to have somebody that can do those two things.
Also, I did have an experience with Fastenal where it was palleted and crated, and it was actually a space tool shipped out from Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and they just they hit it with a forklift or something, and the coverage or the insurance on it was just terrible.
Oh.
Like it was, they basically were like, "Yep, sorry."
Well, this is covered up to a minimum of $1,500. So
Nice.
Is it inside an enclosed crate?
it'll be a 2x4 crate. So it'll be visible, but it'll be crated. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy that is brokering the deal used to crate stuff for a living. So he's like,
Wow.
I'll do it for you. He charged me nothing to do it. So not nothing, but it was inexpensive. Am I supposed to tell about my moving story now?
Yeah. What about your Star Wars?
Hey, Jason Heiser, you still in the chat, or did you just fall off the end of the earth here? Because this involves you. So we have Star Wars stories, I guess, in common for moving games. That game is heavy. I mean,
Oh,
It is.
dudes, that's got to be like one of the heaviest Atari cabs of all time. So, I go to Hudson, Wisconsin to pick up this Star Wars, which unbeknownst to me had been in a MoMA auction. And if you guys don't know what a MoMA is, what does it stand for again? Minnesota
make me an offer auction or
Minnesota operators,
something.
I didn't know that.
something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, it used to be a big open air auction that people go to, and they bid on games and take them home. And this guy bid on this Star Wars and got it working, and then wanted to get it out of his house as quickly as possible. So he cleaned it up, flipped it. I'm sure he bought it for like a song, and I went up and I think I paid $600 for it at the time, which is pretty good if you look at the price the Star Wars is going for today. Right?
Decent.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in really good shape going for upwards of $2,500. So I don't feel so bad about that anymore. But it did break right when I got it home. So
No.
but anyway, to get it in the car, well, first of all, my friend Jason used to live in Hudson, and so I asked him if we could be the meeting point would be at his house. So the guy agreed to come to his house, drop the game. So I went and hung out with Jason. Guy brings a game, and I'm looking at it. I'm hemming and hawing, and I'm thinking I'd try to try to bargain with him, and I just paid the money. So then I come to find out later an interesting story about it, but let's talk about the moving part. So at the time, I had a 2009 Ford Escape, not the tiny little Murano looking thing you see today, but still pretty small, 4x4, right? So I got my little SUV and open up the back, and we put it in there as far as we can, and it's sticking out the back, I don't know, probably by about 3 feet, right?
3 feet.
Yeah. So I have a couple. Yeah. So I have a couple of options.
Oh goodness.
Right. So I can either just batten down the hatches and then ratchet it and just drive with the thing hanging out the back, or I could try to get it in the car. So I put both of my seats forward all the way, and then I took the passenger seat And this is with the rear seats folded down, obviously, so it's flat and back. And then I took the passenger seat and I pushed that all the way forward to the point where it was almost on the windshield. And then I took the Star Wars and I put it. Okay, so you know how the Star Wars angles up on the back, right?
Was it lying on its back?
Well, no, I put it on its side. So
Okay.
So you know how the back of the Star Wars, the top of it angles upward, right?
Right.
Towards the front of the machine.
Yeah.
So I put that side, the low end of that side, on top of the console between the two chairs. And then I pushed it as hard as I could up into the car. Then I closed the lift gate, and the lift gate closed with no room to spare, like maybe like a eighth of an inch. So I shoved some cardboard in there. So the Star Wars is inside a Ford Escape, the entire game. So people like, when I used to tell them I move them in my Edge, they're like, well, how do you get it in there? I'm like, I got one in my Escape, dude. So anyway, so that meant that I had to drive with my seat all the way forward. And I had my head literally 3 inches from the windshield from Hudson, Wisconsin, all the way to Golden Valley. So that's like a 35-minute trip with no traffic, easily, you know. But I made it, and I didn't get pulled over. I just thought it would be hilarious if I got pulled over. Like, oh, why are you driving with your face on the windshield, sir?
I'm hard of seeing.
I had my seatbelt on. Not that it would have done any good. If I had hit something, my head would have been smacked against the windshield. Anyway, that's my story.
The airbag deploys after you've hit the windshield.
Right.
That's a great story.
Go
Brian,
ahead.
I hope your story has to do with Star Wars.
Yeah. Does it have to do with no? Because I know his Star Wars story.
Well,
no, I know one of them. I don't know.
I have 3 Star Wars stories, but none of them were very difficult. What was the hardest pick that I had? Actually, the scariest or hardest, I don't know what you want to call it, it ended up being okay, was a similar one to what you had, Mark. Paul Saarinen was nice enough to let me know about a major Havoc that was for sale out west of here a little bit. There was a converted cabinet. Went out to buy this thing, and it's basically said, I'll come get it. You know, I'll figure it out when I get there. And I go to pick this up. It's on the second floor of the garage. And so there's this outside staircase, like on the edge of this lake, where the landing at the bottom is like tipped so the water can flow towards the lake. And I get there, and you know, the elderly gentleman that was there and his wife are there, and the elderly gentleman's an old physician. Actually had some great conversations with him, but he has Parkinson's, and there's no way he's helping me do anything. And the woman just disappears and heads inside to get dinner ready. So anyways, I get this. I go in my trailer. I pull out the dolly. I'm like, okay, I got this. And I actually had Paul's dolly with me. For some reason, I didn't have my own. He'd left his at my house. So I take it upstairs. Machine's beautiful. I get it loaded up. I kind of wheel it out onto the landing, turn to the left, start going down the staircase. It's wet. It's a wooden staircase outside in Minnesota. There's a lake on my right, and there's nothing solid at the bottom. And the whole way down, I'm just thinking, this is gonna end bad. Like, there's no way this is gonna end well. Get to the bottom, didn't fall. Was thrilled that I actually lived through it. Roll the machine 2 feet forward on this dolly, and the wheel comes off the dolly and rolls down towards the lake.
Oh man, did it go in the lake?
No, I call Paul. I'm like, Paul, the wheel fell off your dolly. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. That one doesn't stay on. Something I didn't know before I started down this staircase.
Nice.
But that was kind of one of the funnier picks. The hardest ones I've had are just the ones where you got to carry all the damn machines out at the same time, and you've got to, we had one down in Wisconsin where actually it was Paul and I carried 6 Ataris out of a basement, and that was terrible. But
6 Ataris? I thought one was bad.
Well, there was 2 of us doing it, luckily.
Wow. But
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how small an Atari cabinet looks.
Right.
It's heavier than any Nintendo cabinet, or
Well, Nintendo's a terrible comparison. That's the lightest cabinet.
Well, okay, Stern, Midway, pick one. It's just insane how heavy those cabinets are.
What do you think it goes? Lightest to heaviest would be what? Nintendo, Williams, maybe next,
Williams are pretty light.
because they're all plywood, right?
Yep.
And then they did.
What about
The Duramold.
Titos?
I'm sorry.
Titos?
Taito.
Taitos are.
They're very heavy.
Brian Jones said Nintendo games are made of farts.
Yeah, and Taito games are they are MDF, aren't they? A lot of them. They're not. They're not even particle board. They're like pressed.
They're like
wood.
an MDF, painted.
And they're freaking heavy.
Actually, Mr. Peabody, have you moved any of the newer Gauntlet arcades, like the Dark Legacy or those? Those are freaking heavy machines. Golden Tees are pretty heavy, but those new Gauntlet Dark Legacy, I mean, Atari's sticking with it. Make a 4-player game and let's make it 10 times heavier than a Konami.
Oh, we talked a little bit about this with Gar last week. When he was on, he was saying that the worst games to move are those Dance Dance Revolution games.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. That'd be the worst.
I just picked up one of those for events. I've seen guys who have dedicated welded like those little dollies just to move their DDRs.
Yeah.
Brian Jones says Tato was ahead of their time. Shipping was cheap. All you had to do was add water and they grew to full size.
Sweet.
So that was the random question of the day.
I will give one. I do have to give one shout out though with the hardest game pick.
Okay.
I bought a Twilight Zone in Hawaii.
Oh yes.
And we were living on the second floor, and I got it home fine. But when I got home, it had to go up an outside staircase that had a landing and then a turn to the left. And so it was like up 12, 15 steps and then turn to the left and up another 10 steps. And the shout out I have to give is my wife and I carried it up the staircase.
Oh.
Oh my God.
We put it down at the top. She looks at me and she goes, I am never moving a several expletives arcade cabinet again.
Wow. Well, you're still married, so that's something.
I think we are. I haven't checked in the last hour, but I'm pretty sure.
Does she still live there?
She lives in the West Wing, where I don't have to pay attention to her at all.
What? That sounds familiar.
I
new
made
drum
that up. Oh boy. I think we should get some news going here.
Good evening. The news channel. Hostage, Israel, government, business merger, refugee, oil supply, defense, the Klan, education, strikes, crime, riot, canted science, celebrity, the earth, the universe, the news channel.
Good day, I'm Bob Kane. And I'm Jim Wilkerson. And this is the news channel.
We interrupt the
Penis.
And now, the Arcade News with Brian McLeod.
Welcome to the Arcade News. We have 3 wonderful stories for you today.
Wait a second.
And we have a new product. What?
That's
Wait
good.
a second.
Who's trying to interrupt in the middle? Mark, were you trying to interrupt?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. That must have been somebody else.
I think it was you.
Not I.
You were like, wait.
It sounds like you don't know, and so I'm going to go with that.
Well, it couldn't have been Brian because he just picked up the slack and he's like, what are you like? Mark's like, wait a second. What do you want to know? Like right in the middle of the bumper. What do you want to know? I want to know what you want to know.
You don't even know what I said. I can't wait till you listen to the repeats.
Oh yeah, the repeat's gonna be good. I did catch that. We're gonna get some text messages on that one, Mark.
Yes. Okay.
Well, getting on to the arcade news here. So, News 9 in Oklahoma reports that a collector of old school arcade games reported 4 games stolen and then later received a call from the thieves who were so intelligent that they called him and tried to sell him his games back. So the John Loftus, who was the guy who had the games stolen, alerted the deputies who met the very uneducated or unintelligent or maybe drunk, I don't know, thieves at a Love's and to exchange the games. And the thieves are surprised, arrested, and Loftus got his games back. So these thieves who were very astute looking, I guess were wanted for some other crimes as well. So I mean,
you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so one of the things that's kind of funny is we've talked about this in our house. Like people ask, do you have like security or do you have other things for your games? And I kind of look around and go, look, if you're going to go through the effort of getting these things out of here, I don't know that there's something I could do to actually stop you. You know, so I mean, do you guys worry about your games ever being stolen?
No.
No. I mean,
So,
I
and
have
here's
nightmares about panels on my DeLorean coming off.
So here's the question I have. Did they
Yeah.
answer a Craigslist ad that he had posted that he wanted to buy games, and that's how or did they target him like blackmail? Like I don't understand how.
Maybe he had like a post somewhere that said, "Hey, I buy games."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Like Steve Murky. Like you're gonna see that.
Oh,
ad.
you just called out Steve Murky. Ah, Steve, stop it!
I don't care. But somebody does because they get on there and they rant about it for like their whole post is don't let this guy buy games from you. He rips you off.
Well, I mean it hasn't just been Steve. It's been a couple of guys, right, that he's gone after. There's been a local. If people don't know about this because you're not in Minnesota, you wouldn't know about this. There's a local guy that trolls the people who put up arcade wanted ads and claims that they're trying to give you $25 on their $50 game. So,
or more like $100 on your $3,000 game.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My question is, how did
don't-
these idiots end up calling this guy back? Like, oh, here, by the way, we have the exact games that you want to buy. I think what this is missing stuff. Don't you? The story. I think it's.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's also. I mean, like, why would you? I don't know. I mean, why would you call ads or contact people to sell? It just seems like a silly thing to do. I mean, it's not.
we
like
we don't even know there was
inconspicuous.
an ad. The news stories. There's two of them, right? There's Game Gear or what is it called?
Yep.
Games.
I didn't see in either one they actually caught him on Craigslist.
Yeah, I mean, it just says they called him. So it's to me, it's like they almost like, we got your games. You want them back?
Maybe they got his number.
I
while
got
they
a
were at his
knife.
house.
I'm gonna start cutting off parts of your arcade game if you don't come and pick them up at the Loves and bring some cash. I'm taking.
got your-
Gets it.
I've got your EDOT. It's gonna be a Discs of Tron soon if you don't call.
It's gonna be a dot.
It's gonna be. That's not threatening. It'd be more like, I got your Tron game, and the first thing you're gonna see is a spinner if you don't show up with $3,000.
Have you ever seen a chair in a Star Wars cabinet?
They're not that smart. They're not that smart. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Anyway,
So-
on to the next.
Moving right along now after that wonderful segue there. Apple is unveiling a new Apple Arcade subscription service. This is from TheVerge.com. They've got, in the App Store, they say that there's 300,000 games available. There's going to be new games. They're going to be adding 100 new and exclusive games. But then the people will be able to try these whenever they want. And so they basically have come up with a number of titles they're going to be putting out. I'm not going to bore you with the names. I mean, there are things like Sneaky Sasquatch, and I don't know what that is.
I can't wait to find out what hot lava is. Hot lava.
I mean, we used to play Hot Lava. That's where you can't step on the floor, right? I mean, you got to get across the room and not step on the floor.
I know, but how are you going to do that on your Apple TV? I guess.
I don't know. Maybe you lay your TV on the floor and you can't step on it. So,
I'm sorry. You continue.
So,
Continue.
People are speculating that Apple may be launching a game studio, which Google launched last week, but there is no announcement of that yet. So, the Apple Arcade is launching this fall in 150 countries. I don't know why they specify how many countries. That's kind of always a funny thing. But it's not yet revealing pricing. So, I mean, do you guys? I don't know. I mean, I've played the Pac-Man game on the Echo for about 5 minutes and then said, well, that was not so much fun, and moved on to the next thing. I mean, what do you guys think about this and these subscription services having, arcade games? Or have you used Steam, or what do you guys think?
I use Steam.
I use Steam, and I think there's 195 countries total on Earth, at least in this timeline. So
it'd be funny if they said, these are the 45 countries we will not be distributing in.
exactly.
That's what I want.
Namibia.
That's a better story.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're late to the game, but there's a lot of games listed there.
There are. I mean, it is quite a few. I mean, one of the interesting things that I saw with Steam was actually last weekend at the Arcade Expo, where Brian Jones was next door and didn't bother telling me that he was there. Very rude, but we'll excuse him this time. So Polycade, who is made by somebody who may be a future guest on the show, makes these cabinets, and everybody's had these MAME cabinets from like North Coast Customs and another number of other places for a long time. What these guys are doing is they put Steam, which makes complete sense, and I never really thought of, on their cabinets, and that's what they distribute as their quote multi-cabinet.
That's interesting though, because when they first started that Kickstarter, they used Raspberry Pis, and they said you're able to put these games on it, and they were using RetroPie as their delivery method. So that'd be interesting to hear how they do that, because they have to license Windows in order to get a version of Steam on there, right?
Yeah, but
unless
getting a license
Linux, does it run on? I think Steam runs on Linux now too, doesn't it? So
I'd have to check.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was an interesting use of it. So maybe the subscription service, subscription service with Apple will be interesting. Also going to be interesting to see what some of these guys do as they start competing. If some of these guys start competing in licensing out some of these old games and seeing what starts showing up where. So finally, the last story. This is from hackaday.com. Creating It Games. So there's a number of different tools for doing this, but hackaday.com presents a new one. So designers can get started with a point-and-click approach, and it allows you to create a variety of 8-bit platforms. Basically has a multi-platform arcade designer, so named for its ability to allow games, several 8-bit systems from year to be programmed. Currently, the Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, and Acorn Atom are all supported, with plans to add more as they go down the track.
That's all British stuff. So
it is, but they're adding more.
Well, good, because I don't care about the Spectrum or the Amstrad. Sorry, Brits.
I saw that. That was a great Steven Spielberg movie. What a great director, Sam Mistrad.
And I will. And I'm gonna actually roll right into.
What the heck are you talking about?
Since you're being all Mr. Negative tonight, I'm gonna roll right into a new section you're not gonna be negative about. And that's the new product. So you're just gonna have to appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I gotta drop this call. Brian has got to be dropped from the call suddenly.
So for those of you who...
Is he talking? And Mark is frozen. That's funny.
What do you mean?
Mark, you're back.
Oh, you can hear me again?
Yeah,
I can only hear you, not Brian.
Brian got muted somehow. He's been talking for like 5 minutes.
I'm unmuted. There we go. I'm back. I don't know how I got muted. Seriously, I just went down?
I do know how you got muted.
Someone's a sneaky bastard.
Told you I was going to drop it, and then I muted you, and you're just like, blah, 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 blah. And then Mark froze up. It was like a comedy of errors right there.
I couldn't handle it.
Couldn't take it anymore.
All right, so keep rambling on about your thing that you are so proud of.
New product!
It's a new product. It's pretty cool. LaserCon is launching a new board to replace the ROM boards in Dragon's Lair and Space Ace and Dragon's Lair 2, which will be really cool. Really cool.
Is that to replace like a Dexter or what?
No, it'll work with a Dexter. So if you have a Dexter and this board, you can build a Dragon's Lair. Well, you need the NTSC interlace board, I believe, but that's it. So essentially, all those old Dragon's Lair PCBs and everything you don't need them anymore.
FPGA?
So they're launching. It is not FPGA. From what I understand, I don't see a lot of details on it. I was looking for it. There's one person who did kind of a, whatever it is, opening the box, and here it is, the unboxing video. But it works really well. And it looks to me from the stuff that's on it that is actually just kind of the old components on a new board. So it's a lot of kind of socketed chips. It doesn't look like there's anything stunningly new as far as hardware goes, but you no longer need to find the old boards and add the Merlin ROMs onto it. You can have the Merlin ROMs directly installed on this board and connect it up with your Dexter and be playing Dragon's Lair in no time.
It's bad they couldn't combine the Dexter with it.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there's a way of doing that, but I think a lot of it, one of the things I think is neat with what these guys are doing is they're kind of respecting each other's space. So LaserCon did not kind of step on Matt Owensby's, Dexter boards.
Right.
As much as it would be nice for all of us to have them in one board, you know, these guys put a lot of effort into that. And so they're allowing each other to kind of have their own space and enjoy it. So kind of a neat thing that was out there.
That is cool.
Now that I'm not on mute anymore.
Yeah.
You still buy Dexter boards?
Yeah, I believe that there's a few still available. They're not there's not the same number there were, but I think Matt has some that he's kind of moving through slowly and he has to kind of build them on his own. It's not a large production run like it had before.
Cool. Very cool. This is where you say over to you, Mark, or something.
Over to you, Mark.
Yeah!
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the cave with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
This is heavy, Doc. Welcome to the Arcade News on April 4th, 1980.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Who's
boy.
going to be here? Yeah. What?
You're just cutting out.
Why do I cut out during my segment?
I think you have like about a good 30 minutes or 45 minutes of bandwidth, and then it just goes to shit. Yeah, because like right now you just need to disconnect and reconnect. Because she's frozen like a snow cone. Like a shave ice. It's not working. If you can hear us, it's not working.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
All right. What's in the... Oh, wait. No, not yet.
So close, but so far.
So, Arcade News. We're going back to April 4th, 1986. Do you guys remember what you were doing? April 4th?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
1986, April, I was in school.
I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Green Acres.
Yeah, so April, January, February, March. Yeah, so I guess that was 4 years after the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up.
No, I
4
remember
months.
that.
4 months after. So, I don't know. I was probably just going to school, junior high.
We're losing Mark again.
Yeah, he needs to reboot or like redo his internet.
This is like the comedy of errors night.
No, this happens regularly. He's like totally frozen.
So should we go through the...
Hey, I'm
He's
back.
here.
Did I switched to a different router? Did it make any difference?
Well,
You're very clear
right now. Yeah.
All right, April 4th night.
Bam. Done.
It has something to do with when he's talking, because his bandwidth just goes when he starts talking. So
I almost feel like I should just turn off my video.
that'll probably work. The problem is you need at least 7 meg up in order for that to work. I'm guessing your upstream is not good right now.
It's never good.
Time,
All right.
Time to upgrade.
All right. Well, let's try this. Rampage, 1986 arcade game by Bally Midway came out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, your player takes control of a giant monster trying to survive against onslaughts of military forces or people walking by. I think there's random people walking by, isn't there?
There's several.
Yeah. Man, who wrote this entry in the Wikipedia? We were ripping off Wikipedia.org, by the way, since we're now giving credit on what we rip off. Each round is completed when a particular city is completely reduced to rubble. So here's something interesting. That game was released in '86, and Brian promoted it by going to the local media outlets in each city of the towns mentioned in-game. And every time he came into the city, they would put a press release out that said that their town was slated for destruction.
Wow.
So I wonder how they took that. That would have been kind of cool. I would love to go find some stock footage, but I'm just too busy for that. Hey, let's move on to what was at the box office. Teen slasher flick April Fool's Day was dominating
Oh
it
my gosh.
back in '86. Have you seen it? You like it?
No, it's funny though. You shared a link. I could play a little bit of the trailer, right?
Yeah, the trailer is kind of lengthy, but I mean, it has that cool '80s voiceover guy.
Yeah. Well, let me just let's go to a part where here we go. We'll tune you in right here.
April Fool.
Welcome to my home and lifestyles of the rich and undeserving. Wrong.
Cheers.
Join 8 privileged guests who are just dying to have fun.
Wow, what is this, the bride?
That's the worst trailer ever.
It stars Deborah Foreman too.
I have no idea who that is. They made a big deal about that when I was researching it.
It's funny. You did an episode a while back where Deborah Foreman was also mentioned.
Uh-huh.
You were
I
not.
didn't know her then.
You were not coherent in that episode.
Oh no! So yeah,
and you
Adam is
also
now
at
catching
that
up on
time
my-
you're like, I have no idea who Deborah Foreman is. You said the exact same thing, and then
that's hilarious.
And then after that, I said she was in Real Genius.
And I said, "Oh, I saw that. I liked it."
Yeah. So anyway, apparently she did 3 movies.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
The guy
I'm
who
a big
plays
fan.
Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite is in Real Genius, by the way.
Yes, he is.
He's Laszlo.
Yes, Laszlo. I love Laszlo.
Okay.
He just.
I know. I need to review that
He
movie.
just sits in the closet. Yeah.
That is weird. On TV and on April 4th, 1986, Knight Rider had a minty fresh episode.
Oh yeah, and that episode is very. There's a trailer for that too.
Yeah, I know. Here, well, let me read the summary.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't realize this, but all Knight Rider episodes have the word "night" in them. Did you know that?
Well, I
guess that's clever.
It's clever.
So this one was called Voodoo Night, and it was the Voodoo episode. And every 80s TV show had to have a Voodoo episode.
Oh yeah, season 4. Yep. So
correct.
They were running out of things to do.
A voodoo princess and her henchmen, of course, will stop at nothing to possess an ancient crown being held at a private vault company. What a weird... Where did the writers go? They're like, let's make this vault company private.
Wasn't that the theme of Live and Let Die? The movie?
I don't remember private vault companies being mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, you mean the movie with James Bond? And
yeah.
Hey, it's funny because that movie is set in Jamaica, and the new one that they just started filming is also going to go back to Jamaica.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of trivia
Well,
for you.
Dr. No was Jamaica also, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Can you play a little bit of that? That one's short. This is like the teaser on NBC.
I spooked him. Tars had just left a party where the guest of honor was a voodoo princess.
Voodoo, wait a minute. One guy picked me up and slam dunked me against the wall.
I finally have some results on those ear clips. They could create electrochemical responses in the brain.
Where to, Michael?
121 Wall Street.
You become one of them. That building is scheduled for demolition.
That's
I love how it ends on an explosion.
Yeah, that's a stock explosion.
It definitely sounds like a John Dykstra explosion, like from Battlestar Galactica or any of his.
It's way older than that.
I mean, it's almost like the What's that, like that, ah, you know, that cry that isn't it all movies?
Yeah, the Willem scream.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a stock explosion that was used in so many things. And that goes back way before the 80s, but...
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So...
Well, I guess that just leaves us one question.
Really?
What's in the Juke?
Woo! That guy. He's a little overzealous.
It was, and I'm not cutting out anymore. I only had to like disconnect 3 times to get it going.
Apparently
Nice.
you're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that was a good pop culture segment. I liked it, especially the part about Deborah Foreman.
Who's she? That's the running joke of the show. Every episode, we'll mention Deborah Foreman.
I'm gonna do like the next week.
Wasn't she in Valley Girls?
Just Valley Girl, but yeah, Valley Girl.
It's just the first one.
Yeah, Valley Girls was a sequel of, it was never a sequel.
Land of the Valley Girls. Yeah.
Valley of the Land of the Girls. There was a song called Valley Girl by Frank Zappa.
Oh yeah, and his daughter was in it, and
yep,
she was super hot from what I recall.
I love that you remember. Yeah, what's her name? Zappa. What's her name? It's Dweezil's
Moon Unit.
Moon Unit. That's right. Because
yeah,
but Valley Girl went something like this.
Valley Girl, she's a Valley Girl.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Really great shoe stores. I love going into clothing stores and stuff. I buy the neatest mini skirts and stuff. It's so bitchin' because everybody's super super nice.
That is awesome.
So we're gonna play a clip here, and the chatters are gonna chime in. Wow, we got Red Friar in the chat. It's the first time he's been listening to the show live, and we don't have a guest. Welcome to the show, Red Friar. I know exactly who that guy is.
I cannot find the naked Moon Unit Zappa picture that I used to fawn over. Oh well. Let's play this game.
Yeah, and I actually expect Red Friar to do pretty well here. We should probably explain how it's played for the new chatters. We'll play a clip, and you'll guess what that clip is. We're just going to play a very, very short clip. And then if you get it right, Mark, tell them what they win.
You win a pat on the back, a hearty hi-ho, and possibly a fist bump. We're adding that this week as a bonus.
Oh, yeah. Fist bump. I like that. Sounds good to me. I mean,
and in the order of you may think that you guessed before somebody else, but whatever came across the stream on our side is the official order. And what's up, Aaron Sanders? I hope that you're able to at least take a place into this.
So we could let them all reload their browsers if they think that'll help.
Sure, yeah. Let's get rid of that lag that you from back when I was reloading 10 times.
Yeah, go ahead, and if you want to reload, just make sure your browser's fresh.
You should reload. Yeah, reload. Reload.
That's what we try to do. And then we'll play some noises. Like if you get you get partial points, right? So if you get the artist right or the name of the song right, you'll hear this.
Half point.
And if you hear, if you get it the whole thing, you'll hear this.
Full point.
Right?
Is that all one clip?
Well, there's a short version.
You're hitting a few buttons, right?
Full point.
It's very fascinating, Eric. I really do like your soundboard. It's pretty cool. Is there sounds on there that you just never play?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like this one.
What the freak is that?
I just put a cassette in a cassette deck.
Oh.
And here I'll hit play.
Oh my God, lame. This is the worst soundboard ever. I'm sorry I asked about it.
I don't play
What's
that.
What's in the Juke?
I don't play that very often.
No.
And then there's this one for, when we're waiting for an answer.
Yeah, we should play that. That's good.
But
okay.
So
Let's start the game.
I guess I should use that probably, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, I'll make sure we're doing that when we're doing this. Okay, here comes the first clip. It's playing. Trust me, it's playing.
Here's somebody walking. The Walking Dead. Very distinctive beats.
There's like people in the chat. Journey, Duran. They're just totally guessing. West End Girls, Andy Baldwin.
Oh my God, Andy Baldwin.
Wow. Pet Shop Boys.
Shop Boys.
Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit more of that. That was amazing. And that was for
Full point.
Magic.
This has got the world's longest intro.
I like it.
Awesome 80s. Okay, so the next track is one of my favorites. Thanks for picking it, Mark. And here we go. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play 2 clips of this. I'm gonna play this one, and then I'm gonna play this one. This is the 12-inch version.
I do love this song. Mike Gleek tried Depeche Mode, but no Mike.
This is a tough one.
Keep going, guys. It's cool to see Delusional in here.
Yeah, that's cool. Good guess.
I like his videos. Michael Jackson, what?
Oh my gosh.
I did not mean to go there. I'm sorry.
And some British dudes. It is Aha. Mike Gleek got
that.
half of it. So that is, you know, we'll get some fighting going on in the chat.
Half point.
Half point.
And The Sun Always Shines on TV. Circus World gets the other half.
All right, Circus World back for another round.
Nice. Good job, guys. All right, here comes the next one.
1, 2, 3,
Oops.
4.
If you're gonna do it.
That's not the right one. That is. Where's Casey? We need him, right?
He thinks he's giving other people a chance.
Andy Baldwin, wham! Yeah, he pulls it. Andy gets half point for the
Half
wham.
point.
And I'm your man, Mike Gleek.
Half point.
Wow, got some mixing it up here in the chat tonight. Thank you. You guys are doing a good job. Okay, and here comes the next one.
Oh, God,
Yeah, it sounds like somebody hit him with something.
Let's see who gets it first.
All right. So Andy Baldwin said Kiss Prince.
Prince is half
Half
point.
point.
And oh yeah,
All in one
Andy got
line.
it all in one, so he gets the whole
Full point.
Nice.
That's right. Right behind him was Mr. Peabody.
Sweet. Tell us who's.
What?
Tell us the rankings. What do we got going?
The rankings thus far: Andy Baldwin 2.5 points, The Gleek 1 full point, and Circus World bringing up the rear, half a point.
And how?
Oh yeah.
Yes. We very much like to continue the game. All right.
Continue. Jump Jump by Star Wars.
Oh boy, you guys, I'm getting a call.
Ooh, maybe it's Mr. Colin. We're gonna.
This is Adam.
Let's.
Oh, that's no problem.
The timing's perfect. If it's Brian. He's smiling. Oh well. Oh, he muted himself. Damn it! It's just me and Brian. Okay,
What?
Brian. Now what do we...
All right, we're taking over.
All right.
This is our chance to shine here.
Now, what do you think's on Adam's forehead? Is that? I mean, the Ash Wednesday was too long ago, so let's rule that out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking a blemish. Yes, he says it's a blemish. I think that's what that means. Or he's giving me the Italian sign for asshole. Oh my God, he knows sign language.
Oh, he does know sign. Oh, that was the English sign for F. Oh, wait.
FOAD. I couldn't quite tell.
There we go.
He's totally schmoozing.
He is.
He's wearing not a bit kit, but Fitbit.
So we should do like a what is Adam saying instead of a what's in the juke.
I don't know. Does he know and realize that he's muted, or he has to know? Hey, you know what would be cool is if you put a Fitbit on a bit kit, you'd have a Fitbit kit.
That is true.
And what else? There's probably what?
Could we then call playing games exercise?
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, there's like that'd be a good question. Like, what game gives you like the best workout? Because I think Marble Madness, because I've had it now for a month, you definitely break a sweat on Marble Madness.
Yeah, that is true. Have you played Sega Sonic? Have you ever played that with trackballs?
Which one?
Sega Sonic.
No.
It's a 3 trackball Sega game.
Okay. 3 trackballs. That sounds amazing.
I know. Well, kind of like Rampart.
Oh, cool. I don't have that one either. I got a lot of games I need to get.
You do. I will have another Rampart up and going soon.
Oh, do you need to sell it for a low price to a good friend who will speak highly of you and go, yes, that Brian Armitage, what a great guy.
Okay. I do have somebody that offered me a very nice price for a Rampart 2 years ago.
Okay.
And
what happened to them? To hell with that guy.
Gonna pay you next month.
Okay, Brian Colin just called me. We're just getting him set up here, and we'll be back.
Oh,
we'll be back.
Great. We'll what's that called when you're schmoozing?
Go ahead.
We'll have small talk.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
good.
good.
Talk. Just big talk.
Right.
Little talk.
Vamp. Well, vamp. That's what it is.
We're gonna vamp. I don't vamp.
Are you familiar with that term?
I heard that vamping is worse than smoking.
All the kids are vamping. It's funny. No, that's where you play music before you come outside, and then. So I guess this is where we talk, but we're not really talking. It's like practice talking. I don't know.
Andy's doing his stand-up. Is Brian gonna call in?
That's good. Press F for greaseball. Okay, let's do that.
We don't have the soundboard here. I can't do the doomp doomp.
Yeah, I know. I don't have access to that stuff. I do have a way to change my voice, but I don't think it's too cool. Let's see if you do that. Applications. Voxel, I think is the name of it. The problem with this app is that I've never paid to use it. And what it does is it lets you pick one voice and it won't let you change it again. Okay, so let's pick Demon. Okay, let's see if it'll do it. Is it doing it? Nope, not yet. How does it work? Voxel. Go for it. I don't sound like a demon yet, do I?
You don't. Well,
Okay.
I mean, that depends on whether you consider or you originally sounded like a demon or not.
Right. Demons. Demon. Oh, it's probably because it's looking for another input source or something like that. All right, let's see here. No. Window, tools, preferences. This is the worst game ever. Oh, I see. Recording device, blue snowball, preview playback device, built-in output. Okay. How about now?
You do not sound like a demon.
I do not?
No, you do not.
Okay, how about...
Can we do the podcast in sexy voices tonight? Greaseball, if you ask my wife, she'll say no.
That's too bad.
Plus, I've been yelling all. It was a very long day. I had a very challenging case today, so I was doing a lot of talking during that. So my voice is not. It's not 100%.
I think.
He must be talking to you. He said, "Big boy, you're the man, Mark."
Can you hear me now?
Now you've gone demon.
Hello. All right. I'm gonna probably have to change this, but demon.
You know what you should do is get some crackers and. Understanding.
I see. Okay.
He's back.
All right.
He's here.
Back. Hello, Adam. He's probably like, "What happened to your voice?" I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha! Sold my soul."
See what happens when you leave, Adam? You just
That's right. I go figure out how to do things. We were right in the middle of what's in the Juke, too. How far were we? Oh crap! I closed my browser. Oh, well.
For the rest of the songs of what's in the Juke, you have to do an intro singing in the voice.
Oh shit! Okay, let's do that. The only problem is I closed the browser, so now I don't even have that open. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, it's asking me to sign in. What is happening? Oh, no. I need to wear one around my homeless camp. Hey, Baseball in our chat's asking when we're going to make t-shirts. Adam does that on occasion.
Hello. There we go.
The demon just got rid of Adam again, and now he's back.
I see. Oh, did it let me change my voice? Do you like this one? How's this one sound?
That's excellent.
Okay.
You gonna sing us Christmas songs now?
Christmas, Christmas, time is here. I don't know the rest of that song.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're doing a great job filling stuff.
Filler.
Yeah. We're like the fluffer getting ready for the rest of the show, right?
All right. The fluffers. I don't know what that means, though.
That sounds so wrong in that voice.
I love fluffers. Fluffers are such good friends. Good times. Come on down, fluffers, and hang out with me. Let's hold hands while you're fluffing. You know, it's funny. I don't have a preview of what this sounds like, so I just think that I'm talking in my normal voice. Can't wait to listen to this tomorrow. My wife's gonna be like, "Why did you do this?"
Because Adam left us, so we had to fluff. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
We all need to do that and do the chipmunk song in 3-part harmony.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I want to answer phones with this voice. That'd be awesome.
That'll get some good contracts. Hello, chipmunks here.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey guys, I need to get a link over to Brian Colin out of the out of our current chat.
A link to the chat. Do you want the pop-out chat?
No, there's a way to give him a link to this conversation.
The Skype.
Let's see. Looking. Oh, sorry about my voice.
How about this? Do you like this one better? Here we go.
That's awful.
Roger.
What's your vector, Victor?
We have Clarence.
Can you add Brian Colin, Mark? I'm unable to add him.
Let's see. I'm hitting the dude. Brian.
It's
How
Brian
do we?
F as in Frank Colin, Colin.
Frank.
Brian F as in Frank Colin.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Let's see.
You should see his little picture.
Looking. Is it all like one word with no spaces or something? Or?
Correct.
Oh, I think I see him. Hold on. Let me see.
Hello. Something's happening.
And I guess what happens?
I can hear
Brian. Hey, let me turn this off so I sound like a normal person.
Did you just call him individually and not add him to our group?
Yes, Adam. Adam is here. So I think here we have Brian Armitage and myself, and Adam is just looking down. Is he okay?
I can't hear Brian either. I think only you can hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear your call, so that must not be going to me.
Oh, who was I talking to?
That's
all right. Let me try.
You're not talking to Brian Colin.
All right, let me try it again.
And you should be able to add him to our current call.
I know, I'm trying to. I checked his name. I clicked add. I'm doing it again.
I heard him call. Brian, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep. I'm going to turn off Voxel. That was fun. Do I still have you, Brian Armitage? I mean, Brian A. We just don't advertise your last name. That's the trick.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it won't let me add him either. We may need to add him as a Skype contact.
Okay. Yeah, he may have like a certain setting or something. Now that we've said his name out loud.
There we go.
All right.
So I just added him there. See if we can pull him in.
Don't tell me what to do ever again. That's Greaseball in the chat. Look at all those likes Delusionals Arcade's talking about. 19 people watching as we desperately try to join Brian into the chat.
Hey, Adam, are you talking to him?
It's Colin, right? I mean to say Colin, but am I saying Colin all the time? I think I'm saying Colin.
It's a mix.
All right. I'd say it's Spanish. Colon. There was no voxel
I love-
for adding Spanish.
I do love Greaseballs. This is Bush League. Give me my money back. Every cent of it, Greaseball. It's
Yes,
in the mail.
We're mailing it back to you.
There's a check. It went out yesterday.
5th class.
In the lower right. Yes, Greaseball. I am the Paradise Arcade
Got about 30
dude.
seconds here left before he's got his computer ready here.
Okay, great. Excellent.
Fantastic.
All right.
Cut that out.
Super. Wait, what's something that Adam says all the time that he doesn't want to say anymore?
Fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
You're welcome, Greaseball. The lower right, dude. I'm famous. Infamous, famous, one or the other.
Yeah, you're a celeb.
So while we're waiting, I can tell a kind of funny story, can't I? I mean,
Why
we're
not?
just waiting.
No, we don't
So-
accept humor.
Well, so I was in the hospital, and this is when I was a fellow, and I went in to see this patient with one of my professors who was not a he thought a lot of himself. So we go in the room to see this patient who's getting ready for surgery, and the patient looks right past the surgeon, who's like my professor, and at me, and is like, "Brian!"
What?
And he's one of the guys that like shops at the shop all the time. He's like one of the arcade collectors.
Oh my God.
And the professor looks at him and is like, Brian? And he's like insulted that he hasn't like addressed him first, right? I mean, like he's the surgeon, and and this guy just looks at him and goes, "Well, you know who Brian is, don't you? Everybody knows Brian." And oh my gosh, the next 3 months I was with that guy were hell. I mean, it was just like
Mr.
ego,
Famous Brian.
boom, like smashed. And this guy's just like, "Well, I mean, do people really know who you are?" And I mean, I was, I played it. I had to play it up at that point. I mean, you see somebody having that kind of ego trip on themselves. You just, well, I mean, there's a few people. So it was so funny. And then the ironic part was, so this guy that was at the shop the whole time, I'm not going to use names, but then I did his whole surgery. I mean, the professor, they take you back in the room and then they basically leave.
Wow.
They come back, they check it at the end, make sure you did everything right. Once they trust you, I mean, they don't do it. It's not like your first day there, they do it. But once they see you know what you're doing, you're basically doing their work.
Right.
Arcade Jason, I was a fellow 3 years ago. I finished fellowship in spine. And Greaseball, I lived in a town called Waimanalo, which is on the east or the windward side of Oahu.
Wow. So it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
No, I don't. The time in Hawaii was great, except for the fact that your arcade games rust over there. Everything corrodes.
Oh yeah.
It just doesn't matter. You have to have them in a climate control environment. Otherwise they just, so. Delusional. We are now in Minnesota, because it's just like Hawaii. So we just call it Paradise Arcade because, Minnesota is paradise, especially the last 6 months.
It's a trap.
Hey, when I look down towards the water, there's a river. So out this window that's like right here, there's a river down through the woods. And that river is, I don't know, like 15, 20 feet higher than it normally is. So the waves are kind of lapping up into the woods. It's kind of like paradise.
Yeah. Well, that's alarming. Has that happened every year, or is this just recent?
Well, this is the first year we've been in the house. But
that's right, new house.
Yeah, my understanding from the neighbors is that this has never happened this much before.
Let's see.
Delusional. Yeah, guys, people know too much about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Connecticut. Actually, I grew up in North.
We got another guy joining here. I'm gonna hang up on this other call here.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Our fluffing is over, Mark.
All right.
Let's get this guy.
Hello, Brian.
Hello. I don't know. I'm not seeing myself. Am I anywhere on?
Oh
you?
yeah, we see you. You're like
you.
a little bubble up in the top right, probably.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, now I just gotta make sure he's added to so everybody else can see him.
Okay.
Hey.
Nice.
There we go.
That's not your wife, is it? The model for that particular screaming girl?
I've seen her look that way from time to time. No, actually, it was not based on her.
Okay.
My apologies to everyone for joining so late. I had technical difficulties that I was tearing my hair out on earlier, and then I went upstairs to take a nap.
That's all right.
So I'm really, really sorry. Hello.
Well, that's
Funny,
okay.
We were just nearing the interview portion, so because at that point we'd have been like, well, what now? What do we do?
You actually, your timing is almost perfect. You're almost a little early because we still had some what's in the juke, Adam.
I'm going to go get a beer. I'll be back.
All right, so let's do that. What's in the juke? Well,
you got to do what you got to do, right? Okay, so where were we? We are at Let's Go All the Way by Sly Fox. Is that right?
did somebody guess that? Because I don't know.
Oh, so they just stopped guessing when I said hold on, or?
Yeah,
oh.
pretty much.
Okay, so we had West End Girls by Pet Shop Boys. We had Sun Always Shines on TV by Aha. We had I'm Your Man by Wham. And trust me,
Wham!
and then we had Kiss by Prince, and Let's Go All the Way by Sly Fox. What was the last track we played, which is a little bit of... So... All right, so the next track we're going to do... Is Brian back? Good.
He is back.
So just to catch up real quick, we're playing a little game called What's in the Juke. And so the chatters are guessing from little clips that we play what these songs are, and they get points. So we only have a few left, so we're going to play this clip next. Yeah. And
I love that song.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. So here we go. Anybody got it in the chat? We're just waiting. Maybe a little fighting going on here. Ooh. These Dreams, Andy Baldwin. And that was Heart. Andy Baldwin pulls out both answers for a full point. Okay, cool. So the next track that was These Dreams by Heart. And here we go.
Done.
Van Halen.
That's the best I used to be able to run up the stairs.
Van Halen and Greaseball Can Halen. Different band. And then Why Can't This Be Love? Yeah, so that's great. Perfect. And who gets the points? Thank you.
Andy's killing it here, isn't it?
Let's see. Did Andy get the points, both points on the last one?
Yeah, he got them on this one.
He got them on this one, too.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier to keep track. Okay, thank you, Andy. First placer.
Yep. So to Red Friar, yes, everybody's delayed at different rates. And what happens is sometimes your browser's a little slower or whatever. So we give everybody a chance to refresh their browsers. But we go with what's in the chat, what we see first. So, he's on These Dreams. Okay, so here we go. The next one. Here's we only have two left. I know we've played this one before. That's the only clip we're giving them.
Answer in the form of a question.
Andy says, "Why are all these guys having their women bring them drinks?" I didn't have her do it. She just did it.
I missed it.
Okay, so I got to play a little more. Is that what's going on? I like how Andy just
like nobody's guessing.
He guesses Depeche Mode whenever he doesn't know that's there.
Wait, Mike Leake. Mike Leake guessed the band OMD.
And Delusional got the movie. Well, close. It is close. It's not the right movie, but I'm pointing to the screen. Like that helps. Apparently, Mark, Sam came into the room right about the same time Christine did. I didn't see.
Oh,
but it looked like Christine was delivering
like
a
that
drink.
was planned. Let's do that every time.
So that was If You Leave. But Mike Leake, is he the one that got that? And who's the band?
Correct. He got it at OMD as well. He was
the
first to
OMD.
guess.
Okay, good.
Yep. So. Let's make this next one worth 3 points.
3 points. All right. 3 points. Here's
This is gonna be good.
Here's your clip.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
What song is that? Damn it.
I don't know. Tell us.
Why did they start the song with the name of the song?
No one got the song right. Billy Ocean is correct. Let me play the clip again.
Red Friar's still on OMD if you leave.
Yeah, I know. He's way behind. Sorry, buddy.
Andy got both.
Oh, good. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Good. That was a good job.
Mr. Billy Ocean.
Full point.
We still have one more, actually. Let's make that one worth 100 points.
We have one more?
Yeah.
For all the marbles.
Winner take all.
Okay. Here comes the last. This was 100 points? So winner take all. Okay,
100 points.
You need the demon voice.
And
back.
if they design games like this, nobody would play. All right, here we go.
Okay. Ah!
So far, nobody's spelled it correctly. Mike Leak. Mike Leak. Give Mike Leak the name of the song. 50 points for Mike and 50 points. Actually, he got the whole thing correct.
Oh, he did. Mike Leak is the winner.
For 100 points.
100. Yeah, so that's.
I don't have a clip for that.
Okay.
100 points.
Do you play that little clip like 100 times? Full point, full point, full point, full point.
Just play, yeah, that's the worst clip ever. So Luke won with 102 points, Andy in a distant second, 7.5 points, and then Circus World with 0.5 point.
All right. So Brian, thanks for joining us on the show. We're about to introduce you. So
okay.
And we're gonna want you to stay with us for a couple minutes after the show because we can tell what you missed, and then we'll have you. We'll give you a link to the podcast when we edit it so that you can listen to it if you want to or send it around to people. Okay, here we go. So yeah, exactly. Everybody, thanks for joining in and sticking with us. Here comes the drum roll. Yeah, and tonight joins us is Brian Colin, Brian F. as in Frank. Is it Frank? What's your middle name?
It's in Frank, my father's name.
Oh, look at that. It is actually Frank. So Brian F. Colin, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for putting up with me. I greatly appreciate your patience.
No worries. We're just glad that you were able to stop in tonight. So we have all kinds of good questions, I'm sure. But why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and your sort of legacy, if you will, just in a summary.
I am. My name is Brian Frank Colin. I am an internationally award-winning animated cartoonist, filmmaker, turned video game designer. I started at Bally back in 1982. I went in and I thought I was applying for a job as a pinball backglass designer because I had a cartoon style, and they said, no, we're looking for people to do animation for video games. And I did animation, and I'm thinking, Pac-Man? And, I even told some friends, it's like, this is it. Childhood's over. I got a real job. This is going to be, and man, I was wrong on every count. Childhood has never ended. And it's never been anything like a real job. It has been tons of hard work, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. Right place, right time.
That's great.
So that's who I am. That's not who I am, but that's a brief intro as to how old I am anyway.
Well, you've done, you've had a long career in the in what the industry that we appreciate, and all of us are collectors here as well as hosts of this show. And our whole goal of this show is to have people on that were either connected to it in some way. And we've had guests on that have been operators. We've had other collectors on. We've had world record holders. We've had people that produce the artwork for restoration on. But I don't think we've never had anyone who has done literally the artwork for games and the pixel art and all that sort of thing on. You have a unique a niche.
You do both. You do it all.
You do it all, right? And you were involved with game design, so that's got to be interesting.
I am probably, I started out as an animator, so a pixel pusher.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say pixel pusher, but in those early days, everything was very peer-to-peer. Everything was being made up as you went along. And I found out real quickly it was projects that had vision, some guys you work with. And the nice thing about back then, an animator would get to work on everything in the office. So I'm working on every game. I mean, my first game was Discs of Tron.
Right.
Just totally going in thinking I'm going to be working on Pac-Man and then being able to create art for a game that just an arcade game that was as revolutionary and to this day still holds up as a full-on 3D environment. Totally changed my mind about where I was and what I was getting to do. But you worked with different programmers and everything was very peer-to-peer, and within weeks, certainly within a couple of months of starting, so where did the games come from? Well, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, why don't we do this? Or why don't we do this? And they would let you. Very different from the big corporate mentality it is today.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly that working on a game where, some guys you work with were, let's do this. Well, that doesn't work. Let's try this. Well, let's try this. No, that didn't work. Let's try this. Whereas other guys, so having a plan became, for me, inherently lazy, loving what I'm doing, but inherently lazy. I realized right away they let me come up with stuff. I mean, they had a game out on test that wasn't doing very well. It was a fun play mechanic. And I said, well, how about if I just change the whole art to this little cartoony world? Showed them the stuff. They reskinned the game. It went out, made enough money. That ended up being Cosmic Cruiser. And that was just within months after stumbling in the door. I became a game designer out of self-defense. The games I'm best known for are also the games, in addition to doing the screen art and the cabinet art, I came up with the concept. I designed the games. So it was a perfect time to learn to become a designer because everybody was still figuring stuff out. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I've done about, close to 90 games since then.
Wow.
My best known ones, especially, in this conversation here, are the early arcade games. Games like, I worked on Discs of Tron. I worked on Spy Hunter. Now, those weren't my designs,
right?
But this weapon or this thing or this effect was, you're standing around in a group and going, hey, no, we can shoot missiles up into the air. We can have a car come up and a guy stick his shotgun out. And
you were probably a godsend because you were looking at every problem that they were presenting as an animation problem.
And that's just it. Creative challenges. Making games is fun. If it isn't, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And when somebody like the programmer Tom Leone on Spy Hunter, he had the basic core game down and he was tuning it very finely. It was a well-tuned game so that players had to learn a skill, they had to get better at it. But in the meantime, I'm looking at it from the point of view of someone who, I'm coming in, I'm putting on a quarter, and I'm not the most hand-eye coordinated kind of guy. I need something that keeps me amused.
Sure.
So how about this? Oh, the oil slick. Oh yeah, that's going to be hysterical. How about this? And everybody, it was, I don't know any way to say it other than it was very peer-to-peer. Everybody at early Bally Midway, shared everything with everybody else. Guys would come wandering down, they'd come in and look at it. And for me, who had been working in film, you'll draw for weeks, you film for nights and nights, you send the footage away, you get it back, and you see, I could have done this way. coming into an environment where I'm talking in the morning, creating late morning, and by late afternoon, I'm seeing it in the game going, no, let's slow that up. Let's speed that. Oh, no, let's add a jump for this. That kind of mentality sounds very too good to be true, and it was.
That's
really
awesome. I have two questions based on.
Stop me when I talk. I will ramble.
No, that's good.
I love it.
So, two questions for you, and I will interrupt because I'm an interrupter. But two questions for you. Discs of Tron came out in 1983.
Adam likes it.
1982, Tron came out. In 1982, they had planned to have Discs of Tron as one of the levels in the game, but they couldn't fit all of that in with the memory. In fact, on Tron, when you put in your initials, you're only allowed 2 initials because they were running out of so much. They didn't have any space for the game, so they actually took out an initial so that they could have enough memory to run the rest of the stuff they ran in that game. Pretty complex at the time. So enter Discs of Tron in 1983. You must have just been coming on board. Am I right about that?
You're close, and this story you just spun is within pretty close to what it was, but the reality was the programmer on the individual game Discs of Tron, Bob Dinnerman, was a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And he would not release that game till it was done and done right.
Okay.
It was less about, space may have been a consideration.
Sure.
But it was less about that and more about the fact that this guy knew exactly what he was going for. And I literally was hired because some of the pixel artists that they had at the time did not understand. I was a classically trained animator, Bugs Bunny, and I came in there, and with the extreme limitations we had in terms of space in those early games, if somebody, a previous animator, who, again, I came into the game when it had already been started, but I did all the character animations and then finished all the rest of the art. But, the previous animator had 2 frames to animate in, and this was one, and this was the other.
Sure.
So the net result was it never looked like it was moving because it was basically the same shape. So I turned it into this and, whatever the 2 frames ended up being.
Yeah.
But so that the eye could see the difference in movement rather than trying to tell the difference between this and this, which the eye couldn't see.
And you're, of course, talking about when the character is running
around. Yeah, a simple run animation. If you've only got 2 frames, you've got to do it exactly right, or it's. I mean,
I tell you, I never played a game like that in the arcade where the animation up until that point, the animation where you'd see a character running, it gets to the edge of the disc that it's running on, and he almost falls off, but he stays on and he wavers a little bit and he gets back on, and you don't appreciate the amount of work that goes into making that animation work for the player.
And the beauty of that is, again, Bob being one of the first programmers, and I'm working on other games at the same time, but sure. Bob being one of the first guys I worked with, and we're talking about, as we're creating these games, we're playing them all day, every day, we're testing, and as you get to the end, to someone like me, it's like, no, I get to that end, I need a warning, Bob. You can't just decide that, okay, he's gone past this point, we're going to drop him.
Right.
I'm going to create so that I, the lame guy who's not as good as you, because you're programming it, will know that, and the players will know they need that warning.
Yeah.
And that, the creative challenge of, he's waving his arms. It was probably 2 frames, but again, it was the right 2 frames that give you the idea. Playing it at just the right speed.
Oh, that's
that was everything I worked on in those early years. Discs of Tron was one of the first ones. Spy Hunter was another great one that, again, in both of those cases, the programmers held on to the game. And in those early days, management was out of brilliance or the goodness of their heart or the fact that they didn't understand what was going on and was scared do anything.
Maybe a little both.
Let's try a lot of stuff. Let us hang on to games without forcing them out the door.
Yeah.
So we were allowed to make the mistakes internally before we got that game out in the public and
Well,
actually got it out testing. So it was a wonderful time to stumble into the industry.
And I had my follow-up question about Spy Hunter that you mentioned was in that collaborative team. I remember hearing a story that, well, first of all, that they couldn't get the music because they wanted to do James Bond, but it was too much money to license the music, so they went with Henry Mancini's Peter Gunn theme. So, which is fantastic because I think it gives the game even more uniqueness. I have two questions. First one is, how much were you involved with the promotion art for that game? And also, so none of that. But as far as like the pixel art, I heard that the car has an interesting story about how it became the shape it was and what it was based on. So it wasn't an Aston Martin that it was based on. It was based on the programmer's vehicle or something like that.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
No, that's not true. The programmer on that was Tom Leone. George Gomez, who was a mechanical engineer, but he was kind of, when I joined, he was kind of the heart of that whole department.
Okay.
I think he's credited as the game designer, or one of the principal game designer on Spy Hunter, but Tom Leone did the bulk of the work. The artists contributed most of the elements, everything beyond maybe the initial bullets and, some of the simple basic stuff that was in there.
Yeah.
We all get to contribute stuff, and that was great. The music that you brought up, though, I always like pointing out that was the first time. The Peter Gunn theme was beautiful.
Yeah.
But the best thing about that was one sound programmer. Another one of the sound programmers, I think it was Neil Falconer, created the first time I had heard an actual live jazz generator that never plays the same way twice. If you play that game and you're in the zone and you're in the van and you're getting that jazz, that is being generated by this
program,
jazz generated that Neil wrote. And I love that. I fell in love with that. And the only involvement I have on the cabinet art is back in those early days, management would say, well, none of you are designers. We can't put our names on here, or alternately, when they wanted to force something into the game, they'd say, "Well, we're all designers."
Yes.
Shove in whatever they wanted. But the only bit of cabinet art on Spy Hunter, which I love, is the fact that the artist who did the side art on the sit down on both cabinet versions snuck in all our names and initials into the blueprints that are on the side. So I think I'm BC Missiles somewhere. It's a Leon engine.
Nice.
It's a GG. So we snuck it all in there, and then later we had to get creative.
Very cool.
Nice. That is absolutely my favorite game. So I'm gonna have to go play and listen to that jazz generator later tonight because it's I don't know. I love that game.
It's a marvelous game.
Brian, I think you have another game that is kind of rare.
Brian does several games that I love, but the latest one I picked up was the one you went down with me to get that one.
I did, yeah.
Was the Cosmic Cruiser that I finally picked up. Yes. So
It's
I told you,
monster.
I told you I was hunting that one, Brian.
It is a gigantic game.
That is a monster. And now, were you able to get it with the full rotating the thing light in there and the effect and the silvered rounded mirror and everything?
I mean, everything. And it's funny because we have parties at the house and, we'll have people come over who are used to Pac-Man or Donkey Kong. And I take them and show them. I'm like, you have to understand that this game is more than just a game. Look at the art, look at the backdrop. And they look and they go, that's a universe in there. I'm like, yes, the universe. And here's the toy. And I spend more time talking about that game and the reflection. And it's just, it's a wonderfully, wonderfully done game.
Well, thank you. Like I said, that was a tremendous game. It played very well, but it was a very dry, kind of very dry art on it. And I was looking at it, I was playing with it. And again, since you kind of work with everybody, I said to the programmer, got on there, pushed a few pixels around. I said, I've got this little green alien character. How about we do it in this cartoony way? And again, Then I didn't know it was as rare as it was, but these days I can appreciate how rare it was for them to just say, "Oh yeah, so give me the art, we'll reskin it, and we'll try it." And then then Bally loved it so much that that same character then was lent to another company that was doing a game at the time that wasn't doing so well, but they used the Cosmic Cruiser in Wacko, if you guys remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slanted top and everything like that. So it was a fun time. It was a fun time.
Phenomenal work. There was a question from the chat. Ian Montag is asking how much you were involved in the game Xenophobe.
Xenophobe was one of my babies. Xenophobe was I started working on, Xenophobe was my concept, but originally it was a exploration in a pyramid, and I was going to do that with Jeff Nauman, who I'd done games like Sarge with and Demo Derby, and of course Rampage, the one I'm best known for. Xenophobe was a concept I came up with that was going to be a pyramid exploration game, and it came out of the fact that we didn't have scrolling hardware. So when those sliding they wanted it 3-player, management wanted 3-player because Rampage kicked ass. Mm-hmm. But it was assigned to a brand new programmer who's like, well, I don't like that theme, but I like science fiction. I'd just seen Aliens, so it's like even better, Alien parody. And then I got to do a lot of the, I'm of an age where my idea of video games was, text adventures. So there was a lot in Xenophobe where you find this thing here and you figure out where to use it there to get this effect. And so I could bring that kind of, it's not a text adventure, obviously, but I could bring that sort of finding the right stuff and using it in between mindlessly slamming that trigger as fast as you could and trying to take care of the aliens. So, and again, parody, it makes it easy. Parody makes it fun. And I learned early on that, because back in those days, we had two customers. We had the operator who wants to make money and wants the kid off in 30 seconds. And we have the kid who wants to live forever. And in my more successful games, I learned early on, it's like, if they're laughing, they're more likely to put in another quarter.
That's true.
So comedy's always played a big part in my favorite games.
That, and Brian, were you going to say something?
Well, actually, so unfortunately, I need to run.
What's going on?
I'm on call, and I actually have to go do a surgery
Woo-hoo.
in 45 minutes. So I'm gonna jump off now.
Paging Dr. Brian.
Okay.
Paging Dr. Brian.
But I wanted to say, Brian, I don't know if I get to see you at MGC, but if I don't, I'm gonna have to catch up with you soon. It's always great to see you, and Susan sends a very fond hello, and she's hoping to see you soon.
And yeah, I hope to see you up there. That's just 10 days away. So.
Don't remind me. I've got so much to fix before I get there.
3/4,
including whatever you got to fix right now. So we'll let you go.
66% of the team will be there.
All right, great guys. I'll talk to you soon. Sorry, I'm jumping out.
Okay.
See ya.
No problem. Good luck. Good luck. That's always a cool thing. He's like, I have to go cut somebody open, so I have to leave.
Well, yeah, that's my first time hearing that. So that actually made me feel a little guilty that I'm talking about, comedy. When a player dies, we need comedy.
Yeah.
Probably the wrong kind of send off. Yeah, wrong kind of send off.
I have to cover Brian's face up. He left us with this funny still.
Oh no.
So so that was a Xenophobe. Anything else in the chat there that I missed here?
I don't think so. They were talking about it Grinkfest last year, which I don't think you've been to, Brian, but they had a thing they called the Whack Off.
Yeah.
It was like a wacko, tournament. So.
Yeah, it was cool. And they made a special marquee as the prize, and it said "Whack Off" on it. So I'll probably do a Whack Off too at some point.
Trying to get them to bring it down.
So going back to the your animation style and that sort of thing, can you just give us a brief rundown of games like, General Chaos and Pigskin and some of those earlier games that you did? And because I noticed there's a lot of stills. Like in Rampage, you have little stills of the characters of Lizzie and George and Ralph, and then you get to animate them too. And the same thing, you sort of have a stylistic approach to a lot of those games of that era, the mid '80s era. So give us a little bit of rundown on Pigskin and General Chaos.
Well, I mean, basically, to talk about General Chaos, I have to talk about Pigskin because one leads to another. One of the earliest games I ever worked on was called Ant Raid.
Okay.
And it was a game. It was never released because it was a 2-player game, and they never did the one play. No, they never really had a 1-player game AI, but it was 2 queen ants and their hives sending ants to fight out over food and garbage. And it was really, to me, it was, I was a guy who played, the Avalon Hill war games with the hundreds of little cardboard pieces, the strategy and tactics games. And this was live, real with a trackball, and that stuck in my mind. Even though the game didn't get released, I got to do cartoony characters for it. And so as over the years, games like Sarge, when we said we wanted to do a tank game, and Jeff and I talked, I said, well, let's control a tank and a helicopter, because just the idea of controlling multiple things. And then later with Arch Rivals, we're controlling both players on the team so that we can do real basketball strategies. That was Jeff's big thing, is he was a sports nuts. And of course, me, on the other hand, it's like, I don't care about the sports. But if I can do personal fouls, I'll have fun too. And maybe we've got something. And then that led to Pigskin, where instead of controlling just 2 guys, now you're controlling 6. And General Chaos is all the natural extension from a gameplay standpoint for me wanting to play games that could be played mindlessly, but if you could dig deeper, for those that wanted to dig deeper, I always wanted to have something down lower in it. The cartoon style, it's my cartoon style. I don't know how to explain it. I never really thought of myself as an artist, but the fun I have drawing, I think, comes out in my art. So starting with Rampage was the first game that I really had to fight to, even though the team, we all felt we had a winner, I had to fight to get that made. I mean, literally right up to the president of the company.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, it was, we came up with the idea. I came up with the idea while we were talking about what we couldn't do with the hardware. A lot of my games are all about someone telling us what we can't do, and then we try to figure out a way to do it.
Sure, yeah.
And, they said, well, all you can do is animate a rectangle, because I wanted to do big stuff so I could show emotion and I could show comedy.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And I said, can we animate the backgrounds? I've seen other companies doing that. And they're like, no. All you can do is animate a rectangle. What are you going to do with an animating rectangle? So I looked at Sharon, one of the other artists, and I said, okay. A building falling into itself.
Yeah.
That's an animating rectangle. Now I can do big characters. What knocks down buildings? I can do big characters. I can show comedy. I can do face plants. And so all of my characters, I mean, I had done one game prior to that very few people have seen, very rare game called Zwackery, in which I had a big character.
Someone in the chat just asked about Zwackery, so feel free to branch off it.
Zwackery was the first game that, as I mentioned earlier, Midway never called any of us game designers. Nolan Bushnell was in touring from California, and they were showing, everybody's kind of standing by what they were working on, and he came up and looked at Zwackery and management, and this is the designer, Brian Colin. And I about crapped my pants. I went out and changed my business cards the next day. It was wonderful. And then I think I spent the next 20 minutes fighting with Nolan about games while management kept trying to pull us away. We had a lot of fun. But that's another story. But Zwackery, I had big characters. Rampage, big characters. Pigskin, big characters. Arch Rivals, big characters, because it made it easier for me to get my cartoon style across. And then, like in games like Arch Rivals, every character, having all these different characters, the fact that I could do a big face and give them a fun name. Most of my games, I also wrote all the stuff for as well. So the bad puns, whether they're on the cabinet or in the game or in the descriptions, you can blame me. And then Arch Rivals was fun because just by giving the characters different look and a different 5-word description, players would swear that if you played Hammer, he was going to nail more baskets than this guy who was a better defensive guy. There was no difference between them. Sorry. I apologize, but everybody believed there was. Sure. And that's what we learned in those early days too, is it's less about what you do and what the player believes is going on. So very early on, we deliberately went out of way to, it's not important to make the ball bounce realistically.
Yeah.
It's important to make the player feel gratified that that ball's coming back to his hand, because in real life, he's going to miss it. He's going to trip, or he's going to do whatever. Same with the shooting at the basket. We didn't want you to match. Jeff was brilliant. Jeff Nauman, the programmer, brilliant on. It's a percentage, and it's a percentage based on these guys are experts. The player doesn't have to do anything but shoot. This is a game about blocking and getting up in time, and it's going to go in or it's not going to go in.
And punching each other.
And the punching was more my element, because I wanted to be able. Well, in one of the earliest conversations, most of our collaborations usually came out of some of my concepts, but Arch Rivals was one that came. Jeff was flying home from somewhere, and he had the concept on a barf bag when he came into the office the next day and says, "We got to do this game," because we'd done some multi-character stuff. And because we can do real basketball strategies. And it's like, cool, that's great. I said, but what if you're not a basketball player? What if you don't really care? I said, so let's do something to just draw in people like me, who is just a nerd and may not care. And, the fist, after Rampage, that fist, that's a fist, guys. In Page and Arch Rivals and Pigskin and just about any other game, I throw the fist into the artwork. Just because it's fun, it's easy, it's a surprise. And, surprises, again, comedy was for me one of the ways to keep people engaged. And now ask me about the Arch Rivals, one of the best things that we ever did that people hate when I tell them about.
What was one of the best things that you ever did that people hate when you tell them about it?
Exactly my question.
This was your question too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Dang it.
Actually, because it's all about the player, and because it was 2-player games, Jeff and I love doing multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Part of the success of Rampage is we tuned that because we knew there were going to be strangers playing, or 12-year-olds with their 8-year-old's brother, and they all had to have fun. Arch Rivals, same kind of mentality, is like, if one guy's kicking the other guy's butt, the guy who's winning all the time, it no longer becomes a challenge, and the guy who's losing all the time is never going to want to.
Sure.
So, guess what we did? If you're losing, you're going to make a few more baskets than the guy who's winning to get that game close. And then the guy who is kicking your butt has to catch up, so he stays challenged. You as the lousier player, i.e. me, okay, no, I've got this. So that was the number one thing. And from a game design standpoint, and from a keeping players engaged, that was part of the success of that game, which nobody ever thinks about. They think about the play, they think about the action, but really that's what we were thinking about, because we've got these people that got to put another quarter in.
Yeah.
And then the other beautiful thing that people hate when I tell them about was also in Arch Rivals. Because we have to get the money from the player, and it's like 7 quarters long to play an entire 4 quarters. So a period ends, and the clock gets to 0. I don't know if you ever noticed, play doesn't stop. You can keep playing and keep playing, and then you shoot that basket, and the ball goes up and gets right to the basket, and then we stop and ask you.
Oh my gosh.
So watch it the next time, because and then how are you not going to put in a quarter to see whether that ball goes in the basket or not? So it's little things like that I love as a game designer. I love that people don't notice, don't recognize, but actually are a big part of what, in that era especially, what made a game a success. It earned.
Yeah.
If it earned, we sold more. If we sold more, we got to stay working in the industry.
That's interesting, because you were already past the crash at that point. Both Rampage and Arch Rivals came out post 83. So there are interesting games, especially because when I would go to the arcades, I was prime age for that. I was in my teens, and I saw Rampage for the first time. I remember we sat down, and it was at first, who gets to play what character? Oh, I don't want to be the girl. I'm going to be George the gorilla. You do this. And then all of a sudden, you see things in the game that you've never seen in a game before. And the animations, and they're eating stuff out of the building, and then they're getting shocked when they hit the sign. And then when they finally run out of life, they shrink down to their original human forms, and they're all naked. And
we got in trouble for that. I mean, people wrote articles on how horrible it was. It's like, he's 8 pixels across. I defy you to find some genitalia there. Covering herself up. But and that's also kind of when I learned there's no such thing as bad press.
Right.
Because it was we knew we had a huge game when we came up with the first concept. We took it to our boss. You're gonna and he said no. So I went over his head to the VP, and I love this, but you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this. Unfortunately, a new president came into Bally Midway right at that time, and Jeff and I had already started working on it and proving out the concept and that we could replace this stuff and do what we thought we could do. And he came in and gave a speech to the troops and said, "Now, I just want you all to know I've got an open door policy, and I think you can probably guess who is waiting outside the guy's office door at 9 a.m. the next morning with the Game Refuge document in his hand. And if it hadn't been for him, who was new to the industry with no preconceived notions, he gave the green light. Rampage wouldn't have happened."
Wow.
We were really lucky there. We had to fight for it.
It was kind of like the new Gauntlet. Like Atari released Gauntlet, and there were lines, and then here's this weird game, Rampage. You get to destroy buildings and do things that you've never done before. And all of a sudden, you got people lined up to play.
Pull it out of test locations because they would have too many. We would test everywhere because still back in those days, there wasn't just arcades. It was street locations. It was in 7-Elevens.
Sure.
They had to pull it out of convenience stores because the kids would cause too much crowding in the little convenience store aisles.
Sell slushies.
Right. So it was very gratifying. Very gratifying.
So. Did you say that was sort of the pinnacle of your classic gaming career, as Rampage?
It's the one I'm best known for.
Okay.
I mean, every game I've worked on, there are things about it things about the game that I'm extremely proud of, and in terms of driving game, you can't beat Spy Hunter.
Sure.
In terms of a Dungeons and Dragons, Zwackery is, it's comic and it's I can't beat my own game. I'm not as good at my own games as the average 9-year-old, but I made them for myself.
Sure.
Rampage is probably what I'm best known for, and then World Tour is probably what everybody who's not 60 years old remembers most. So I'm proud of those. Pinnacle, whatever I'm working on at the moment is what I'm having the most fun with. And that's still
cool.
true to this day.
That's awesome. I think one of my other questions has to do with, it's also kind of along the lines of Rampage. You mentioned a couple spin-offs. By the way, someone said we should have a Zwack-off.
I like that better because I actually had nothing to do with Wacko. That was done by Scott Morrison, I think, did the art for Wacko. I believe, and he was at an independent company that was doing games for Bally. But Zwackoff would be pretty good.
Yeah, and then the question, follow-up question for Rampage. There were many sequels. Were you involved with any of the sequels?
We did Rampage. After, in about '89. We were about halfway through Arch Rivals, and Williams, our biggest competitor, bought Midway from Bally.
All right.
And myself and Jeff Nauman were the only 2 video game developers they kept. And we finished Arch Rivals for them as the new Bally Midway Williams, as we used to call it.
Sure.
And then did Pigskin for them, and then we left there in good terms and formed Game Refuge because we were wooed away by EA.
Sure.
They wanted us to come out and work there, and I did not want to move to California. And eventually they said, well, what if we just give you the money to start your own company? So,
Okay, I guess.
We could do that.
Sure.
We could do that. So that worked out good. And then General Cast was our first game for EA.
Okay.
But we continued to have a good relationship with the Williams Bally Midway people. And we were in there actually working on project, and the head of marketing at the time was Joe Dillon, late Joe Dillon, said, we've got all our 13, 14-year-old males covered, but we need something for everybody else. We need a game that appeals to women, that appeals to old, appeals to young. And Jeff and I just looked at each other and said, let's redo Rampage. So Rampage World Tour, we did the arcade version of that. Other than that, though, we never got involved in ports.
Okay.
For me, the fun of doing a game is coming up with the creative solutions, from implementing it, from tuning it, from going out and seeing it happen. And in Rampage, because it was literally 10 years later, we could put so much more hidden stuff and ending movies and all kinds of stuff in Rampage World Tour that we couldn't do in Rampage. So that made it ideal to revisit. After Rampage World Tour was a big hit at home, we were asked by Midway out of California then to do another game, and we did a full 3D mock-up of a first third-person Rampage in which the characters are shrinking, growing, running up and down the streets, running away from mice and hiding in holes.
Interesting.
And they said, no, we just want you to add another character and do the exact same thing. And we said, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
No, you can find anybody to do that.
No innovation. Yeah.
Dumb business move. I wish I'd stayed attached to it, but I was just sure they were going to come back and do our 3D version. Which they never did.
They called your bluff.
But we never did ports. Any of our games that are home games were always done by other people. About all we had to do with them was we'd get to go to the opening parties, the release parties, and we'd get copies of the games. But no, of our arcade games, we did the arcade stuff only.
So World Tour is interesting because you get to expand on Scum Labs, and you get to introduce some more like the scientist character, the blonde scientist, and you get a couple other. It's more of a storyline. It's kind of interesting.
Right, and that was actually the storyline in Rampage. It was very much as a college student, child of the 70s, if you will.
Sure.
Urban blight was something that was driving me crazy. So Rampage was, that little blimp that comes in that drops in the character says Scum Labs on it, even in the original Rampage. And that opening screen where you see the 3 human characters that are turned into the 3 monsters that comes up on the teletype.
Sure.
By the way, that was myself as George, my wife
saw that.
Lizzie.
I knew it.
Jeff Nauman, the programmer, was Ralph.
There's an interesting show on. I'm just an anecdote here. Do you know the show Angie Tribeca on TBS?
Not offhand.
Okay, so if you ever watch Police Squad, it's sort of a reboot of that, but it has
I've seen. Yes, I do know.
Rashida Jones and Jerry Burns, and it has this woman named Dre Vermillion, who's like this Dr. Monica Scholes in the show, and every time I see her, she looks exactly like your depiction of your wife in Rampage World Tour. Just an anecdote. So you're talking about these release parties for games and such. That kind of leads me to another little thing that happened recently. You got involved with some film starring The Rock.
Yeah, they did a movie. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it was
Rampage.
Rampage. That's it.
That was it. Yeah, that was wonderful. That was a delight. I was invited to do extra work when they were shooting in Chicago, and spent a couple weekends doing that, and that was a ton of fun. They shot a cameo.
Cool.
Which was actually in the screenings out in LA, but it was cut from the final film. My wife and I were at the premiere, and it's like, okay, here it comes. The first thing, John Ricard, who was the principal producer on that, or one of the principal, if not the principal, the guy who first reached out to me, and first thing he said to me at the after party was, "How'd you like the movie?" And then, I'm sorry, Warner came in and made us cut out 30 minutes of Easter eggs a couple of weeks ago. And so I ended up on the cutting room floor.
Oh,
but
that's too bad.
well, it was a ball. It was a riot. Yeah. And every time I went up there, and it's like, it doesn't get any better than this. And then I got a call from John Ricard, the producer, who said, I've been wanting to contact you for years, but the legal department here has asked me not to.
Oh.
But now that you're officially part of the film because you're an extra, would you like to come down during the last week of shooting and visit the set while they film the end of the movie? And it was, yeah, I can do that. That'd be
awesome.
just great. It was wonderful.
And you got T-shirts and pictures with the cast, and
the Rock was wonderful. Naomi, they were all wonderful. And I can't say enough either about. I'm blanking.
Okay.
George, the actor who played George. Why am I blanking? He's wonderful. They should have a Academy Award for him, because watching them shoot and then seeing the movie later, that is him. The CGI is wonderful, but as an animator, I always thought the CGI was the artist, and it is. I mean, they do what they do.
Yeah.
But that
Jason?
Jason Lyles, yes, Jason Lyles. I'm sorry,
There you go.
Jason, I blanked on your name. He was wonderful. Everybody down there was just super nice, and it was it's been an incredible couple of years here. It's been a ton of fun.
Well, that's well, you know what? I haven't seen the film, so I'm gonna have to go see it now.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, we saw it at a premiere. It was good. Of course, we saw it.
It is a ton of fun, and it has some Easter eggs that had me shouting out loud excuse me. It's had all that orange juice I'm drinking. It had some Easter eggs in there that I caught, right with the rest of the audience when they happened. It's just like, and then shouting out. So it's fun. They did a real nice job with it. It's very much their Rampage. It's not, Don't go expecting Scum Labs and Dr. Veronica. And the giant naked useless demonic bouncing around on the moon. So don't expect that, but they took a really fun take on it, and I love the fact that they kept the humanity in the George character. So if you do see the movie, my biggest fear was that they were going to make it a monster movie, just a straight monster movie. And for me, and for everybody who plays Rampage, the monsters are the heroes. Yeah. They are, or at worst, they're the anti-heroes. These are people, they are victims of a evil society, the evil corporation, and so they kept that humanity in the movie, and I love that.
Was there an Easter egg where they play taxi tennis? Punching the tennis back?
No.
That would have been fun.
That would have.
We had so many little tiny, and that was part of the fun of doing Rampage, and because we were very low on art space, that was one of the things that made Rampage so nice, is because our characters were big and they had a set of animations, we could put the humor in the little guy on the toilet, but you eat him, but if you hit a second punch, this water comes out and squirts you. Or, playing tennis with the L trains, back and forth until it blows up, or hitting the guy in the sewer just right. And then the sewer would bounce around and take out other stuff. Or if you grabbed the girl in the red dress, nobody would shoot at you if you were the right character, Those little, and because they were such small pieces of art, we could really load up Rampage, and that gave it legs. A lot of games, especially back in those days, arcade sales and arcade's earnings were about every new game comes out, gets all the money right away.
Sure.
But then it drops off in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Rampage had legs for months, some say years.
Yeah.
And that was really gratifying.
Sure.
That was really, as a designer, you're going, oh yeah, okay.
We would gravitate towards, multiplayer games too, back then. And I remember Altered Beast was in there and a couple other games. But we'd always gravitate back to Rampage because of the humor. I think it was just, we had so much fun with it. And probably that's the reason why the other games that you've made have been such hits as well. One game you made that I wanted to ask that's more modern is your involvement with Star Trek and Voyager.
We were Game Refuge by that time for a few years, and we were approached by someone who basically said, we've got the license to Voyager. can you make a game out of it? And they pretty much let us. Paramount was great. They let us come up with our own takes on the Star Trek universe. So we got to create our own characters and our own type of, Borg didn't just, in our game anyway, Borg didn't just take over humans. There were other alien races that we got to create our own special monsters. And then while from the initial concept, we knew it was going to be a rail game, a gun game, like House of the Dead type thing. But I wanted it to be able to be played dozens of times by the same players. So ours wasn't so much a rail game as a maze game.
Sure.
Anything you shoot in by accident or on purpose, if you know what it is, causes you to go down a different highway. You can play that game a dozen times and never get from start to finish and never get through it the same way twice.
That's cool.
And that was fun to do. It made it really fun to work on.
That's good. Were you a Star Trek fan before you got involved, or was that just sort of
I was an original Star Trek fan. Fortunately, as we became Game Refuge, a lot of my responsibility became more manager of the artists and leader of the design teams and stuff. And we were out at Paramount with the producer and one of my biggest Trekkies, who was also one of the biggest animators on the game, a guy named Ben Nauman. And we were walking around the studio in the dark, just walking around the set, the Voyager set, and around the corner, this really enraged, cigar-chomping LeVar Burton comes around the corner, and what are you guys doing here? You have no right to be here. Well, I'm going to call security. And the producer is just, and we're a game design and we're doing this and we've got permission. And Ben, God bless him, LeVar, I loved episode that you directed in which went on, and he just started geeking out. All of a sudden, angry LeVar Burton, the cigar came out, and he became Reading Rainbow of LeVar Burton. He was happy as a clam. He's showing us around. He was wonderful. And I'll never forget. It's like, that's why you have a good Trekkie on your team at all times.
Gotta have one on your 6. That's so good.
No, that was great. That was great.
Chatter, Aaron Sanders says, are you going to be back in Houston this year? He wants you to sign his Pigskin and Arch Rivals.
I know. I've got an Arch Rivals vinyl that I have to ship to Aaron so he can scan it. If you're watching this, Aaron, my apologies. It's been a really, really busy winter. I haven't even, with the exception of MGC, who asked me to do a shirt for them.
Yeah.
I have not, sorry to everybody out there, I haven't responded to anybody who's asked me to book a show this year. It's been kind of a tough winter with my parents and stuff like that this winter. So I've had a lot going on. I'm kind of running things 24/7. But things are starting to even out, and I'm hoping I can get to all the shows that have invited me this year. I'm running a little behind, guys, so my apologies.
I have a question about MGC in a second, but one of the chatters also asked, and maybe Mark and or you could answer this, but was Rampage a medium? It's a technical question. Was it a medium res monitor on that puppy? Or was that just a giant 25-inch?
It was the same resolution as, it was all proprietary hardware.
Sure.
And they would get better in little increments. So eventually they would give her, usually it just meant giving us bigger ROMs.
Right.
So that we could add more artwork. And bit by bit, things would get introduced. I am the worst on as far as technical stuff.
That's okay.
The monitor always had low res background that didn't scroll.
Yeah.
And so that was low resolution, 8x8 pixels. And then, you only had, and the entire game, you had maybe one full screen and a half. That's all you had. You had to make everything out of that few blocks.
Sure.
It was like 500 background blocks.
Yeah.
And 300 took up a screen. So you maybe had a screen and a half. Foreground, things were tight. Ralph looks like Ralph. We picked Ralph the dog because I could take George, and all I had to do was change his head and change his color palette, and now we had a dog. So George and Ralph are identical, the identical sprites, just in a different color palette.
That's
the different.
Cool. So why don't you give yourself a little plug? You're going to be at Midwest Gaming Classic in less than. It's actually a week from tomorrow. Well,
wow.
I don't know if you'll be at the pre-party, but
I hope to be. I hope to be at the pre-party.
Yeah.
I hope to be there all weekend. Through the after party, we're doing some crazy stuff.
I'm a VIG this year, so I get to hang.
Cool.
What the heck is that?
Very important gamer, and I get one of the shirts. So that's cool.
Good. I'm. That's a fun shirt.
I'm looking forward to it.
And then, I'm looking forward to being there. I'll be typically when I go to these shows. I mean, I sign anything anybody wants me to deface. Bring in your stuff. I don't charge for autographs. I don't. If you're foolish enough to let me write all over your prized possessions, I'm happy to do it, and I'm honored to do it. So, nice. But I do sell posters, so a lot of original art from a lot of my old games, and I will, like I'm doing now, talk your ear off if you're willing to stand there and hang out with me. So please come by and visit me. This year, I think I'm going to be, I'm not going to be with the arcade games this year. I think this year, Dan was telling me I'm going to be with the artists out on the main floor, but I'm not sure.
Oh, cool.
I never know what I'm doing until I actually show up and they tell me where I'm going.
Well, we've got about 8 more minutes here before we have to wrap it up because I've got to catch a plane early in the morning. So, Mark, why don't you pick some questions out of the chat and we'll wrap this thing up.
Well, so I have one I wrote. Who was your inspiration / mentor for your distinctive cartoon style?
Good question. I'd have to say Jack Davis. Jack Davis, I loved his hands. There was something, I loved his pen and ink work. Most of my work is pen and ink work. That's what I love to do. Singled an individual, and of course that ties to probably the inspiration for my humor too, because Jack Davis was an early Mad Magazine artist, and so Jack Davis, Mort Trucker, Harvey Kurtzman, those guys, both cool. My sense of humor and my art style probably comes from them.
Love it. Okay, let's see what else I've got here. Oh, as a teenager in the early 70s, did you have any favorite arcade games at the time? And really what I'm asking is, were you more drawn towards the EM games, or did the fancy new video games catch your eye? What were you doing? Some people we ask this question to, they're like, I was dating women, and so.
In the 70s, I was in college, so.
Okay.
Pinball was more around. The last video game I had as a child was the Magnafox Odyssey, where you put the colored
screen I owned
TV to get color.
Yeah.
After that, the only games that interested me were text adventures.
Oh, cool.
Games like Zork and
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Phobos.
Yes, Leather Goddesses of Phobos.
Yes, love those infocoms.
I was not interested in video games. The first game I thought was interesting was Battlezone. A vector game, something I would have never been able to do the art for. Sure. Which is why, like I say, when I went to apply for a job at Bally, I think as I left the interview, I was, very delighted to see it. But I'm already thinking, I'm not sure I want to be doing this because, the big pixels, that's not my, how am I going to do my style? And I remember saying to the guy that, this is great, but, you guys have to know, I have a successful independent ad agency. I do ads for, bars and local restaurants and stuff. Yeah. So, if you want me here, you're going to have to pay me like $300 a month.
Oh, shooting low.
Later, George Gomez was telling someone, he's like, he just smiling to himself, going, "Yeah, I think we can do better than that." So I was not a big fan of video games. I think one of the first video games I remember seeing was Gunfight.
Sure.
Yes.
An arcade situation. There wasn't much. I hadn't, until I started working for them, I hadn't even seen Tron.
Gunfight is Williams, right?
Pop?
Is
I'm not sure who Gunfight was.
Gunfight, or was that Midway? I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will know, but that's on tour right now at that Science Museum arcade tour. Interesting. Okay.
People are always amazed to learn that I don't follow the industry the way players follow the industry, or the way other industry professionals follow it. At trade shows, all I would do is walk around and look at everything everybody's doing to make sure nothing was too close to what I was working on. You know, I mean, I always wanted to try and hit some area that nobody else was doing. And then other than having the occasional favorite game that I play the heck out of, I don't, people ask me stuff about arcade history, and unless I physically had something to do with it, I don't know what they're talking about. And I barely remember the years that I did have something to do with it.
Well, it's great though, because anything we scratch the surface on tonight, I mean, you've been very able to answer. So there's one other question that I think maybe, I don't know, Mark, did you ask the one about sequels?
I didn't, but I did want to talk about this one that you tweeted where you shared Polaroids of your wife and yourself posing for what became the blasted artwork, which is hilarious. And so do you guys start your, I mean, how many other, cameos do you have that maybe we don't know about?
Actually, that's pretty much, we were in the original Rampage roll-up, like say, and then that was her and I on the side of the blasted art. In the touchscreen games we did for Merit, she was the voice of, didn't look anything like her, but there's a game called Air Shot, in which it's an air hockey game that you play touchscreen, and she was the voice with that, and it always embarrasses her because she affects a I don't want to say bimbo, but just let's go with bimbo accent, and that when people are playing it in our basement, then I have to point out, and that's Ray. So
nice.
And that sequel question was, are there any sequels to your previous games that you wish you could produce, down the road?
We started General Chaos a little over 5 years ago. General Chaos 2. We kind of did it in our spare time. We got about 40% through it, and unfortunately, at that time, I was diagnosed with cancer, and a major Game Refuge client pulled out of a multi-year agreement that we had, and we had to halt all progress on that. It's still sitting around. It's still half done. I'm still talking to people about how we might get it done, because it is where the old General Chaos was on the D-pad on the Sega Genesis, and it was the world's first real-time strategy controlling these guys.
Sure.
Now the way it is now is it's touchscreen, and you are going you
yes
over this bridge here. There you go, there you go, there. You guys all fire. You guys plant this bomb here. While the other guy's doing it there. We've got to finish it, and that's going to get finished. We may end up doing. I've done all of my games. I've been lucky enough have always been done as through publishers. 99% of the time we don't do independent stuff. We get paid in advance. Makes it easy to concentrate on the game, and I don't have to be a very good businessman. We get paid in advance, so I just do my job.
Sure.
We've been trying to do that with Chaos, but one time we strayed and did an intellectual property syndicate in which investors owned a piece of every dollar the game made, and that actually worked pretty well. Investors made about 18% on their return on investment over in the first 2 years. So that was a happy thing. We may do that with General Chaos. We may invite people to invest, and unlike a Kickstarter where we're just sending them a little plastic General Chaos toy or a little statue, you own the game. You own a piece of it, and if you put in this, you get a pro rata share of everything we do. And I'm hoping that's kind of I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking that might be the best way to approach it, because we've got to finish this game. Everybody that sees the stuff wants it.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's always the Apple Arcade. I mean, Apple's just throwing money at people, so I think that
you go.
You should accept that money.
Just reach out to Tim Cook and just say,
Yeah,
hey,
we'll
I got this
hook you
idea.
up with Tim Cook.
Yeah.
You know what? You hook me up, you can take a piece. I
nice.
don't reach out to people. I'm like I say, as a businessman, I'm a great game designer.
You just need to get you the right PR
I don't
guy.
reach out to people, but when people reach out to me, if I can help them, I do.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
I'm all for it.
Well, I want to thank you again for being on the show. Stick around a couple minutes after so we can wrap up with you. But I want to give you another plug. Being out at MGC in a couple weeks, you guys get Brian to sign your stuff. He says he'll do as many as you want.
Wow.
Bring the armloads.
Will you sign body parts?
There's nothing more fun than going to a show.
It is.
This has been. I only kind of discovered this kind of world just in the last few years. And I'll give a plug to Doc Mack at the Galloping Ghost.
Yeah.
He introduced me to the fact that all you guys were still out there and remembering.
Yeah.
Because I've been making games for 35 years. I haven't been really paying attention. Like I say, I don't pay attention to what's going on other than what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And it's just been the last few years that I realized, wow, this is really kind of neat. I'm having a ball.
Well, welcome back to the party. So
thank you.
This has been the Double R's. That's Arcade Radio. Thanks for tuning in. And I guess you're going with the next one, Mark?
I have to change to that tab.
Oh, well, how about follow us on Facebook? We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcade Radio.
Right. Call and leave comments, please, and questions on our game line, 612-548-GAME. That's 4263.
Yeah, or you can follow us on Twitter, and you get to see a lot of the same content you do on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's just one click. Actually, technically, it's 2 clicks. You have to click the bell.
Yep. You do. You have to kind of.
Yeah.
It's more than one click.
I'll plug the Game Refuge on Facebook is the best way to keep track of what I'm doing, too.
Awesome. Yeah.
Game Refuge. Sweet.
Game Refuge and GameRefuge.com. If you want to look at their website and see the past games.
I haven't updated the website in 10 years, but yeah.
So don't judge the GameRefuge.com.
That's where I got a lot of my info for plugging the show. So subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and we're not on SoundCloud anymore, but we are on Anchor FM. So that's going to be it for now. From the Arcade Radio team, thanks for joining in. I hope you had a great time. We'll see you on the next show, which will have a guy by the name of Tyler Bushnell, and we'll talk about the Polycade. It's Nolan's son, so should be a fun show. And I guess that's where we let this ride, right, Mark?
Yes. Into the sunset. Hello?
Hello?